last night with a guy called Mtcc or whatever he's fucking called.
He overtook me for position 3 times, but drove through me. Like his car ghosted through me for position as he was, because his internet kept bobbing in and out. It's like, how can you race like that? I know there's nothing you can do. That's the problem, though.
I had the same issue last night in Formula Renault.
Yeah.
So
I know there's nothing that can be done. Internet will be internet. But
who won yesterday, by the way, for the Formula Renault?
Ben Parkey won both races.
Because Dan is shite.
Damn.
Yeah, I am shite.
Where'd you get, Dan?
Second in the first one and third in the... Well, no, second in both.
Nice.
But, yeah. Stupid me, basically. So, I don't know what you guys want to do. Hunter wants to commentate with you guys, so...
If it's
that's fine with me, isn't it you, Matt?
Yeah, fine with me. Fine with me. Is there room for him in the lobby?
This is my problem. I don't know if it's going to have to be share play or not.
Well, if there's no room in the lobby, I'll share play with him.
Sure.
Yeah, because I'm not streaming my end on the PC tonight. Because I was going to try and share play with Kelly up for Imola. But my problem then was I was streaming from my PC onto OBS. And then I was streaming from PlayStation, so I didn't want anything to glitch out. With me only streaming this tonight, I can share play if there's not enough room.
Alright, okay. You up for doing that, Hunter?
Yeah, I'm fine. What's
cool.
up?
Coolio. Like I said, we should have a full grid. I'm just missing Fury now.
I don't think NJ's coming back to let you know for F1.
Why?
He's helping his daughter move at the moment and other bits and bobs. Because he says he's not going to do the last 2 races of our season, so he's not doing Bathurst and Rapuna over at us. So he says he's helping his daughter move out or something, as well as work and stuff. So I don't know if he's coming back for F1 or if he's just going to miss these 2 weeks or what. But yeah,
right, okay. Fair enough.
Keegs I finally heard from after 4 days because I'd not heard from him since Wednesday.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah, like I say, he didn't turn up to ours, and then he didn't turn up to F1. Even his dad didn't know what were up with him, but apparently he's just been in bed or stuff. So
fair enough. Right, what time is it? We got a few minutes. Fury, literally the only person we're waiting for.
So if Fury doesn't turn up, is Hunter getting an invite, or do you just want me to share play with him anyway? Give me a couple of minutes, let me know then. Yeah.
Still 10 over, so like 1 minute or something.
Yeah, give it like 4 minutes. See if Fury turns up. If Fury turns up, then obviously share play. If not, then
invite me to it.
Yeah, no problem, mate. I can sort that.
I'm pretty sure
also,
Fury is here.
Commentating with one of you guys later this week on Tuesday.
You'll be commentating with Kelly because Matt only does the touring cars.
Because Dan begged me to.
Oh mate, I just love your commentating on touring cars. You have so much expertise in this area. I just had to get you in.
Do you like Kelly? Yeah, I think your son might be quite gay coming to suck on me knob like that. Fucking hell.
Oh God, not again. I told him, Matt, if he wants to be whatever he wants to be in life, if he wants to be gay, that's absolutely fine with me. I've no problem with any of that. Just don't ever start skating. Because you can get out if he starts riding a skateboard.
If it's not a BMX, he's not bothered.
Exactly.
Right, guys, we have a reverse grid for the first race, by the way.
Yes, I've got the list already up on my phone on Discord.
Of course he has. Of course he has. Mr. Organised.
So at the minute, if Fury doesn't turn up, that's obviously going to mean...
I know what it means. Everybody bumps up a place. Do you think this is my first rodeo?
I'm talking to Hunter!
My first rodeo.
Oh,
where's that from? What film's that from?
Oh,
my first rodeo. Is this my first rodeo? Fuck, what's that from? Shit, that'll bug me now.
Kelly, I bet you're well annoyed, I know, aren't you, that Matt Neal's not racing next season?
Oh, I'm so annoyed.
Yeah,
I'm so annoyed that when we book our tickets for Donington, which I'm going to do tomorrow, I'm going to have to go and find him and shake his hand and say thank fuck for that.
He says he's taking a season out at his age. I think
he won't be taking it. He'll be on the pit wall, won't he? He'll be running the team, won't he?
I imagine so. I can't see why he wouldn't be there.
Right.
Yeah.
How nice is that Nick Hamilton car as well, that Cupra? Oh.
Do you like
I think
it?
Fury's
I
joining
think that's
now.
gorgeous.
It's certainly better than Jack Goff's.
I've not seen. If that's their final livery, that camo thing, then yes, it's a lot better than that.
Yeah,
But I don't think that's their final colours. I think they're going to change it by media day.
Yeah, I hope so, because it looks awful.
It does.
Right. Okay, we've got a full grid, so yeah, you have to.
Right, I'll set it up now. Fucking chaos. Because Donington Park always fucking rains. I should know, I'm there every year. Cannot use this feature while broadcasting gameplay, so Kelly's going to have to do it.
Press the share button.
Hang on. Share. Yep.
Start a share play.
Yeah.
You'll click OK, and then you'll click Hunter. But do it just before, just before we go live on practice.
Right. Don't do it now. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because it should give you an hour.
Oh right. Okay. Well, I've just share played something.
Oh, great.
I don't know. It was 2. It said start share play. Hang on a minute. Hang on. Just wait before you go anywhere. Before you start share. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah.
what happened to the stream?
Oh, that's okay. I got it.
I don't know,
Right,
I just refreshed my stream and then it's come back on.
No.
Okay, Dan, I got it.
You got it.
Yeah.
Should have an hour, okay?
Yeah.
Should. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, you boys ready to go?
Do
Dan,
it.
I was born ready, mate.
You good to go, Hunter?
Yeah, I am.
Right, I'll let the guys in the lobby know, and yeah, have fun.
Good luck tonight, Dan.
Yeah, cheers. I'm gonna need it.
That
Yeah,
did
you
not
are.
sound
You are in
confident.
that beamer.
That did not sound confident.
So, right.
Oh, we've not got a queue for when we're live tonight, have we?
No, we haven't.
There
No,
we
we're
go.
just gonna have to best guess it. My missus is on the stream here.
Yeah, I can check it right now, so that's great.
Tell me when we are live. When they can hear us, please.
It's gonna be an interesting race.
Donington Park. Oh, excuse me.
Yes, I am working. You're right.
Can you guys hear me okay, or what?
Yeah, can hear you fine.
Yep.
Okay, right.
Hunter, isn't it? Yep.
Yeah.
Sweet.
The
Where you
GT3
from, Hunter?
driver who likes to do spins, apparently.
Where you from, Hunter?
Netherlands.
Netherlands. Right. Cool.
Yeah.
How's the weather?
It's getting hotter today, so
Good.
hopefully nice spring weather in a couple of weeks.
Okay, we're nearly ready to go. I think.
Look to be on.
Yep, she's going to cue me and he's just said on a text.
Okay. Right. Oh. I'm race director. Oops.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Motive Racing's BTCC season here for round 2 at the Donington National Circuit. I'm Matthew Duffin, joined in the commentary box on this Sunday night, as always, by Kelly Daveness. Evening, Kelly.
Good evening, Matt. How are you?
I'm very well. Yourself?
Yes, living life, loving life. Yeah, all's good with me. We've got a special guest as well this evening, haven't we, Matt?
Very special guest in the commentary box tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We are joined by none other than Hunter, all the way from the Netherlands. Evening, Hunter.
Good evening.
Hope you're well.
Yeah, I'm fine. Just commentating on tier 2, now commentating on tier 1.
Brilliant. Nice to have you here tonight for what should be an
Indeed.
absolutely incredible drive around Donington
Yes,
Park
it
National.
should.
Kelly, last week we saw a fantastic Tier 1 race, or 2 Tier 1 races, round the Brands Hatch Indy Circuit, in which Andy took 2 very dominant wins And we said last week 2 jobs to do for 2 certain people, Dan and Gary in the BMW. What's your thoughts going forward into tonight? Do you think them BMW stand any more chance here at Donington?
Well, here's the interesting thing this evening, Matt, is that we will be having a wet race in the sprint and in the feature. And as I've just competed in the Tier 2s, the wet conditions are going to throw up quite a race this evening, I think. Quite a race. The BMWs, I think, are going to be on the back foot this evening in the wet conditions, but...
Wouldn't say that's so quick.
Sorry, Hunter?
Wouldn't say that's so quick, because in Tier 2, Humphrey ran the BMW and he became P9, I think.
Ah.
Yeah, he started way down, didn't he? Started 14th, come up to 9th. I don't think he was. I saw the back of him once or twice. I don't think he was. TJ Humphrey seems to be a little bit better in race trim than he does in qualifying. So,
he also
9th
had a crash
overall.
today.
Yeah, a 9th overall. I mean, Gary wouldn't be happy with that. I know Dan's in the BMW as well. This is a sharp end, so we'll have to wait and see. I don't think they'll fare very well. I think they're going to struggle with this. But, hey, right at the moment, Gary's set the place on fire, but he is the first man across the line for a flying lap. With a 1:11, it'll get a lot quicker than that.
It will get a lot quicker than that, and as well, it's obviously a lot drier here. Just a 10-minute practice session for the guys. The 15 guys on track, we are one short. We've lost one. We did have a full grid a moment ago. There's only 15 guys out there on track, and with that bit of lag, that would indicate that man is back, and Andy is back in the session. It was Andy we'd lost, and what a good job he's back in the session, because he will not want to miss any races. Hunter, are you a fan of Donington Park? If so, what's your favourite part about it?
I kind of like it. It's quite easy to learn, especially the final chicanes. A lot of overtaking.
Yeah,
well,
possibilities.
A lot of overtaking.
That's 2 out of 3. That's 2 out of 3 of us who like it.
Do you not, Kelly? Have you become
I like the circuit from a viewing point of view, and I think it's a classic. But of course, I'm just off the back of a 30-minute wet race, so I'm feeling a little bit sore from Donington. I struggle with the top end of the circuit. We've said this before. Did we have a Simplay one a couple of weeks ago? We did, didn't we?
No,
or touring car, or somebody. I don't know. Well, we did a fun
race in between seasons, didn't we? And I think that might have been one that you'd came on for.
Possibly the top end of the circuit, as we see Gary's just dropping down the deck. Where Gary's coming up to now, these 2 unsighted apexes.
Yeah, McLean's and Coppice.
Thank you. I knew you'd know the names of those. Just here, I find these so incredibly difficult. So easy to run wide just there between the 2. There's a little bit of runoff dirt there, not a lot. This one is even worse. When you run out wide here, it's a fine line between the grass and the gravel. And once you're in the gravel, that's it. And you ruin that corner, and you're ruined all the way down the back straight into the chicane. It's not a great spot to be.
It's not indeed. Down what is still called, and I don't know why, the Dunlop Straight, obviously the famous Dunlop Bridge going over the back of the back straight there, before it was removed pending its takeover to host the F1, which never happened, which unfortunately is why on Project Cars 2 you see all that soil and dirt in the infield coming out of the whole old hairpin and up towards McLean's Corner. A bit about McLean's Corner, it's an overtaking corner, it's a favoured corner by a certain Matt Neal. He loves to late brake up the inside and keep it tight, but it's also a corner, Kelly, that we've seen in the British touring cars a lot of. If you are to send one up the inside, you can have major consequences if you overshoot it running wide into the gravel, and we see it time after time, year in, year out at McLean's Corner up the hill. You get McLean's wrong, you are wide into that gravel.
That's right at the bottom of the hill, isn't it? So
that's the one at the top of the hill.
Well, at the top of the hill, I beg your pardon. So coming down through the Craners right now as you see X-Part, as we drop into this one here, what's this called?
Old Hairpin.
Called there? The Old Hairpin. That, again, is another really tricky corner. And in the wet, so easy to run out wide. I mean, easy in the dry, but incredibly easy in the wet. I was turning in so much earlier, letting the back end drift a little bit so I could have a chance of hitting the apex, because you're just out wide. And again, the gravel is really close here, and the gravel is a real slowdown.
It really is
sure.
a slowdown. Hunter, have you seen much of the British touring cars, and what's your opinion on them?
You mean in game or IRL?
Well, in real life.
I have not seen a lot of them. No, I haven't watched
mate.
some.
You're letting the best of life pass you by, Hunter. I'm telling you.
You are missing
it
an
is
absolute treat.
The best series in the world
by far.
And if anybody agrees with me and Matt,
more like the road endurance races more.
Ah, right, yeah, fair enough.
See.
Yeah, fair play. Fair play. Nothing wrong with endurance racing.
No, nothing at all. And I'm glad we brought up endurance racing. Just before we go any further, I'd just like to say my own tribute to Shabine Smith, who passed away sadly earlier this week. We've had a couple of weeks of it in motorsport. First we lost Murray Walker, and now we've lost Shabine. She was a fantastic driver, arguably one of the best female drivers in the world.
The best.
And you know, it's a real loss to motorsport, and she tragically died very young at 51 to cancer. So I would just like to say rest in peace. Her lap for Top Gear in a Ford Transit round the Nordschleife is one of the all-time best features they ever did on Top Gear. But then that's my bit. I just wanted to say that before we went too far this evening.
No, and I completely agree with everything you said, and would like to say condolences as well, and rest in peace to Sabine. What a driver she was, and what a lap she did around Top Gear in that transit van. As we've got laps coming in thick and fast, we're only 2 minutes left in this session. There's Dan crossing the line. Where's that going to put him? P10, Gary and Dan down in 8th, 9th and 10th, and BMW still not on there. I mean, you know, it's a dry practice. Are they running full dry setups? That's the thing, isn't it? Knowing that it's going to be a wet race.
Well for him.
It didn't go well for him. You're right there. Andy coming across the line. Where's he sat at the moment? Down in P13. Again,
he's
these
not
guys.
flying either, is he?
Oh, yeah, but is it because they know the weather's going to be wet? They're probably not going to have a dry setup on. You're not really looking. This is just a warm up. It is a bit of a warm up. Make sure the wheels working. Make sure everything feels right. You're ready to go. And the minute we get into the reverse grid race, which we'll go through the grid in just a moment, you're 100% committed to the wet setup and the wet race that you've got in front of you.
Absolutely. Just incidentally, Nick Villa goes fastest with a 109.9. That's a quick time.
It's a very quick time, but again, Andy, what we're seeing here is the top 9 this week, not the top 15, but the top 9, separated by only 0.8 of a second. And in typical British touring car fashion, you've got a lot of guys within a short space of each other that's really going to bring up some fantastic racing.
Yes, indeed. It's going to be close for sure. Going to be bumper to bumper, and that's exactly what we like, isn't it?
It is indeed. Hunter, if you had to pick anybody off the list so far, who are you tipping for the race win?
I don't know any of these guys yet, but I think maybe this guy in second currently.
John Boy. That is a very good shout. That is a very good shout. I'm just going to run off the standings of last week's table. I can find them. Have they been posted? They have.
Well, Daniel sent them to me.
So I'm going to run off the standings of the touring cars so far. You've got Andy C. Andy, regular commentator and league owner here at Motive, with 2 wins last week, leading the championship. Delore sits in second with a second and a third for himself. Laney in P3 with John Boy in 4th. X-Mark then comes in 5th place with Lodder in 6th. Nick the Villa is 7th with Dan all the way down in 8th with the 7th and 9th place in race 1. Then it's WSRCJ in P9. Gary's down in 10th with Pope Neep down in 11th. Fury's down in 12th with Vliegurk in 13th. And Emo Guy, the Greek, and Avo Alfonso 14th, 15th and 16th did not race last week, wasn't able to turn up last week, so they haven't scored a single point as of yet. And it's going to be an interesting one. Is that somebody into the pit wall?
I missed it. I was looking at my clipboard then.
It was, I wasn't quite sure who that was. Green McGann.
That was the Loader thing.
Loader, was it? Loader.
I'm not sure.
And there we go, session over. As Matt said, this is practice session, so these times are really only just a warm-up. Nick de Villa is your quickest man in the dry with a 109.9. That's a good time. John Boy second, Laney third. But as we said, this is a practice session. The reverse grid for the sprint race, be a 25-minute sprint race. Do you want to run us through the grid order?
I will run you through the grid order. Thank you very much. Avo Alfonso will start on pole position for this one, followed by the Greek. Emo Guy will line up on row 2 with Vliegurk in 4th. Row 3 is Fury and Popneep. Row 4 is Gary and WSRC. Row 5 is Unorthodox and Nick de Villa. Row 7 is Lodder and Exmar. Row 8 is John Boy and Laney. And row 9 is Delore and Andy. I don't think there's 9 rows, there's 8. So I've missed. I've gone one number too big there. There's only 8 rows,
we get the idea.
9. But it will be a manual formation lap as the guys will get into that race order, and then it'll be rolling start across the line, and Avo Alfonso will take us across that line in that order for the formation lap. And it will be
yes, indeed.
Bit of a jumbled start, Kelly, as we get into the correct order.
Yes, indeed. So exactly as Matt said, they'll come away from the line. They'll get themselves into their order. They all know where they're going. They're all talking amongst themselves, being directed where they need to go. They'll come around one lap, and then we will have a rolling start. Alfonso becomes the safety car, as it were, and he controls the pace and determines close to the start-finish line when he wants to go. So that's the way the format will happen. No pit stop in this one. The feature race later on will be a pit stop. So this is a flat-out sprint. I don't see any rain.
I don't see any rain at the moment, so maybe it's forecast to come in a bit later. We'll have to keep our eyes out for that one.
Looks beautiful at the moment.
It is a lovely clear day. You don't get this at Donington, I can guarantee you of that one.
So, I mean,
yeah.
Matt, that's going to be interesting, isn't it? If they're starting on slicks, they're going to have to do a pit stop for wets. That's going to change things, isn't it?
That is going to change things. What it will do is it will really throw the cat amongst the pigeons to get this one done, because obviously we don't normally see a pit stop in the sprint race, so it's going to be an interesting one to see. Unless the rain's coming for the feature race later, we'll have to wait to see and keep our eyes out on what is happening as the guys then are away, and they're, just like I said a minute ago, they're going to get themselves into order as we are awaiting then everybody to just get in line, and away they will be for what was round 3 of the season. Round 4 coming up just a little later after the this race in the qualifying session. And what a job!
I was about to correct you there, Matt. So no, it's not. It's round 2.
It's round 2. It's race 3, and it's round 2, but it's race 3, and we all we know what I mean.
We know where you are.
Yeah, exactly. Under reverse grids, it's something that obviously I don't know if you yourself are used to over here at Motive, but you've got to do. It's a lot of hard work for the leaders in the championship to come from the back in such a tight field.
Yeah, I get that. They have to be really fighting to get back up the grid and back to the at least top 5, I think.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Go on, Kelly.
I was going to say this is where all motorsport needs to be, isn't it? There is talk of a reverse grid sprint race for Formula 1 this year. They're going to have a crack at it, aren't they?
They're trialling it. 3 races this year. They're trialling it for.
Yeah,
I can't tell you what 3 races they are.
And that'll make Lewis earn his 40 million.
40 million in his private jet and his stuff for his dog or whatever. As Avo Alfonso then is coming out of the Fog TSs for the final time, and when does he decide to go? Well, he's already gone with the looks of it, and we are away here. You cannot overtake until the leader passes the start line, and we are green then at Donington National for round 2 of the season, as everybody's starting to pull out and look at Emo Guy here and the Greek having a look around the inside and outside, and the Greek is very wide onto the grass. So is Avo Alfonso then, as we're coming up to the Craner curves for the first time tonight. There are 2 wide coming down the Craners, and it's a scary place to overtake down here. Flat out all the way down if you dare, and look at Vliegurk in the background behind Avo Alfonso having a look around the outside, but he as well has gone a bit wide, and I think he may have lost it. He's dropped a couple of places. One man who's benefited from this start, look at Gary 131 up into P4.
Yes, indeed. He's made a cracker of a start up to P4, and Emo Guy's had it his way as well. Glitching a little bit. I'm going to come off him. Alfonso's got a penalty already, and Fury's all over the back of him like a cheap suit as they come up to the top end of the circuit and onto the Dunlop straight for the first time. But Ian's checked out in first, 1.3 ahead as they come round to complete the first lap. good start by everyone, mostly clean,
Yeah,
which we
nice.
like to see.
Nice and clean. Fury ran a bit deep into the Fogarty Estes there, and he's pushed
Ooh,
Gary
right.
onto the grass on the outside. Oh, and he's just gave him a tap to keep him on the grass. Bit naughty that from
Yes,
Fury
he
there,
did.
as Gary was
Little bit.
well on the outside. Vliegurk as well ran wide coming out of the Fogarty Estes. He's dropped all the way back down to last, and Gary and Fury have both lost out to WSRC there then, as Fury's going to try and look back up the inside. But a bit naughty that Hunter, bit of a tap to keep Gary on the grass.
Yeah, that's not what he wanted. I think that might be a inquiry, a serious inquiry.
Did you think you see him? Do you think you not saw him? Because it was,
It looks a bit intentional, but that could be me.
It was a bit.
Yeah.
It looked a bit suspect to me. Gary was well alongside him for me, but Gary's going to try and have a look now at McNeil's favourite over taking place in Coppice. McLean, sorry, and he's not going to get that one done. That BMW sliding through the middle of McLean's.
Another penalty.
A penalty for WSRC, yeah. So he's picked up a time penalty as well. Through Coppice they go, and that BMW can use its superior traction out the corner to really get its foot down and go down the Dunlop straight here. We're on the other BMW now of Unorthodox. He's got Laney on his inside, who got a good run coming through Coppice corner. Down the Bentley straight, it dips down, and then it'll dip down a little bit more, and you've got to brake as late as you dare. Can Dan keep it around the outside? No, he can't. And Laney through, as Laney as well has picked up a time penalty himself.
Yes, indeed. And Gary now on the outside of Fury. He's going to try and go round the outside in turn one. That'll be brave. There's not enough room for that, but he's going to... Ooh, back end just skips out. He might have made that stick if he just didn't have that little bit of slide. But Fury just managing to stay ahead of Gary. But I think it's inevitable for Gary's going to get him sooner or later. We know what kind of driver Gary is. So he's just holding off the inevitable, I think Fury is.
Another penalty for Land. And another one.
Yeah,
Nick
Laney,
Villa as well.
and
Laney
Nick
and
Villa.
Nick Villa's got a penalty as well. And I agree what you're saying, Kelly. It looks to be inevitable that Gary is going to find a way through on Fury here. Has Gary had a slowdown penalty though?
He might have done,
because he's backed well off the back of Fury here then. So we'll have to keep our eyes on that. Laney's got himself up into P6 at the minute, but Emo guy, so far so good for him. 2.5 seconds out in front. Problem solved at the minute for him. The Greek Unorthodox is leading from Andy, Delore, John Boy and Nick the Villa, all queuing up behind Dan. So Dan is not enjoying life in that BMW as we go to the second race. Here comes Andy to look up the inside into the Fogarty S's, and he's not going to get it done there because Dan will have it on the inside, but he gets a bit of a slide mid-corner. Yeah, plenty of room, but a slide on exit. That's compromised his run here. And who's that? Who's that there flying past at the moment? Not quite sure who's got a poor run, but look at John Boy going up the inside into Redgate corner, and he's got Andy done, but couldn't get the job done on Dan, and that is Dan battling with the Greek, who must have had a slowdown.
Poor old Dan's got an absolute nightmare of quick sim drivers right behind him and all over the back of him. Again, I think it's only going to be a matter of time. Dan fighting the good fight, but that Beamer looks like a handful for him, doesn't it?
There's somebody off.
Who is that?
Oh, and there was another tap. There was a tap
crash
with two cars as well. I think John Boy's tapped somebody round. I think Andy's had a big slide on the grass. Just looking to see, it was Nick the Villa who got tapped off by John Boy there. But for Dan here, he's causing a bit of dramas behind him by having so many cars battling behind. Although we saw this last week, didn't we, Kelly, with Fury? Fury had so many cars behind him and they kept making the mistakes, and Fury eventually managed to keep in front of them. Dan doing a similar job here at the moment, and as we go on to lap 5 of this race, lap 4 of racing, lap 5 of racing, so because we've just started lap 6, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drivers with time penalties already, and Laney has got past both Gary and Fury and he's up into P4.
Yes. He has. There was a couple of distinctive battles just in those first couple of laps, and we were watching the tail end one. And I think what happened further up the grid is Laney managed to pass both Gary and Fury. And considering Gary and Fury have been this close for the last 5 laps or so, we don't quite know how Laney done it, but they could have been scrapping amongst themselves and he'd done the pair of them. But Laney in front of these two. So again, Gary not being able to clear Fury in this BMW.
No, we said last week. We said last week, Kelly, sorry for interrupting, we said last week that Fury defended absolutely brilliant round Brands Hatch.
Yes, he did.
So far, so good for Fury. Gary's only really had one overtaking opportunity, and that's where Fury kind of put him onto the grass a little bit at the end of the first lap. Bar that, we've not really seen Gary get that opportunity to try and come past Fury once again here, and they have got the Greek Delore gaining on them in the background with Dan on the back of that battle as well. So, in fact, here is Dan. Looks like he's going to have a look up the inside of Delore. Can't get it done. And did he just tap the rear of Delore there because he's lost the car? And for Dan here, it's not going well in his BMW. Cannot seem
place for him.
It is. So he can't get into a rhythm in this car. The BMW seems to be struggling in Dan's hands.
Well, both of them, to be fair. I mean, Gary's not setting the world on fire either in the other one, you know. And we've said this before. I mean, are these BMWs going to come into their own, say, when we get to Silverstone Classic, which is more of a power circuit? Are they going to be better off there?
Well, this is to be the case. I mean, the BMW for me should be better coming through McLean's and Coppice, as Gary has now managed to get past Fiore.
Yeah.
That was out
past Fury.
Yeah, that was coming up out of the old hairpin up towards McLean's corner, and the BMW should really be good at that old hairpin, McLean's and Coppice, because the traction it can get on the power earlier, that rear wheel drive traction out the corner should be able to get the better drive, especially out to Coppice where they've just come out now, down towards McLean's. The corners here are a bit sharper than what they are at Brands Hatch. Sorry, Hunter, what was you saying?
Surprising.
Hunter, what was that?
We were expecting some rain today, but no rain so far.
Yeah, no rain so far. Clear skies as well, so it doesn't look like the rain's coming in. As Lane is looking up the inside of WSR, that is a move done for third place, and he can hunt after Avro Alfonso. WSR gets a bit squirrely on the curb, and you don't want to touch that curb on the outside of Redgate corner. It does kind of want to chuck you back across the circuit and spin you round. A real nasty one, and now WSRC has really got a job to do. Is he's got a BMW in his rear view mirror hunting him down, and Gary absolutely loves Donington Park. That and Snetterton, probably his two favourite British touring car tracks. So expect to see Gary do a bit well here tonight. We've seen him do well last season at Motive in the GT5s round here. WSRC, just a bit of lag there, and Gary, look at how much he's able to gain up on him. Is he going to look up the inside into Coppice? Goes to the outside line, brakes, undercut move, job done. Look at this, get on that power. He had a bit of a wiggle. He's just tapped the rear of him there, but nothing to put WSRC out of position and wide. He's just this. That's a typical touring car tap, if you ask me. That is what you see week in, week out in the British touring cars.
Matt Neal would be proud.
Oh, wouldn't he just? Yeah. Oh, no, Gary's clipped it! He's clipped the sausage curb at the Fogarty S's, and he's gone sideways, and Fury has ploughed into the side of him, and Gary has to wait at the side of the road and drops from P4 all the way down to P9. He's got an Orthodubs who's going to come flying past him now, but not only Gary, Fury as well. In fact, Fury got away with that one. He's still P5, so somehow Fury clatters into the side of Gary and has only lost one place.
Yes, indeed. Well, Fury are under pressure now. Exmart has overtaken him since you started that sentence, Matt. Just got him at the end of the first straight there. So Fury goes back one, but he got away with it reasonably unscathed. Poor old Gary, we've said this before, haven't we? He shows such brilliance and then just makes these silly mistakes.
Silly errors.
Just got the back end wheel back up on the sausage curve, and that just unstabilised the car, and wow, she went, you know, so... unfortunate for Gary. He's got to do all that hard work all over again.
Well, he's got to do all that hard work again. He's already got past Unorthodox, so Unorthodox flew past him on the straight. Gary's only had half a lap, and he's already got past him. But here is Laney on the back of Avro Alfonso. Both these guys have a time penalty at the end of the race they will serve. And Laney here looking really, really impressive. Was 4 tenths quicker than Alfonso last lap, and was 3 tenths quicker than Emo Guy. So I want to get past him here with 13.5 minutes remaining, and he's going to cut into the pit exit line. That's pretty much typically the racing line, just to cut on the exit of that to make your entry as wide as possible into Redgate corner. And on board with Laney we go now. I've just lost my my graphic of the timing screens of the leaderboard.
Yeah, my bad.
Kelly,
my bad, I'll get it back for you in a minute.
That's fine. As we see Laney down the Craner curves, flat out as possible, late on the brakes, cut a bit of the curb into the old hairpin. Up the hill you go towards McLean, to the right of the circuit, back across the left. There are the time penalties. The WRSRC has an 8-second penalty then, as you see Laney just pulling out side by side with Alfonso. It gives him a bit of a tap in the rear there. It wasn't quite clear on the screen, but a bit of a tap. It looked like through McLean's they go up to Coppice, blind corner here. On the brakes as late as you dare. You're just braking before the top of the hill. Flat through the rest of this corner then. Clip that curve out to the right hand side. It's all about the drag down towards the Fogarty S's. If you can get as late on the brakes up the inside, send one. If not, set them up for the exit, because this corner here is really crucial that you don't take too much curve, as you saw Gary in the last lap taking too much and getting a bit greedy, running out to the curb on the exit and then down towards the line, and that is pretty much a lap of Donington Park.
Yes, indeed, and those sausage curves on that last chicane are brutal, absolutely brutal. They're like mountains, so you want to stay off them. This is the battle going on in the midfield. Fury still right in it, as usual. Andy there, double winner last time out, not doing quite so well
today.
Oh, is that going to be a slowdown? He cuts across the grass here to overtake Fury a little bit. And this is brave, this side by side down the old hairpin. And is Andy going to give it back? No, he's going to keep it there and cuts across the old hairpin corner. And Fury, a bit of a tap between the two drivers. And Andy's still sticking it out. Has Andy got a slowdown? Because he's not racing past Fury at the pace we've seen. He's now got past him up towards McLean's corner, and Fury can do nothing about that. And Fury down into P8 and has started to lose out on a few positions now.
Yes, indeed. Up the road a little bit, up six places, WSRCJ, and he's having a afternoon, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? Not setting the world on fire.
This is what the reverse grid does, though, Kelly. WSRC started towards the front of the pack. He's racing with the guys who was winning the races last week, and this is what it does. It chucks up this kind of race as Andy then WSRC. Fury looks like he's going to have him as well. I don't think Fury will get this on the outside. He's going to look to the outside of both of them, to be fair. Clips the sign on his way around. In fact, they've both gone around the outside of WSRC, but Fury's going to try and keep it there on Andy, and they could be side by side coming down the Craner curves once again here. I don't think they are, though. I think Andy's just got that one covered off. Indeed he has. And look who is in the background. Gary 131 back up into P9 and is chasing this pack. Where has Dan gone? I can't see the leaderboard, but Dan's dropped to 15th. Wow, Dan was behind Gary not so long ago. He's now 15th.
So you still got no...
I've got no
leaderboard.
You still got
no standings?
Yeah, no standings at the moment. There we go,
Guys,
I've got them back now.
Is that the one? Yeah, there we go.
I have to go for today.
Sorry?
Oh, you have to go?
I have to go for today.
Well, it's been a pleasure to have you in the commentary box, Hunter. Nice to you to join us. Hopefully you can join us again in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah, see you Tuesday.
Yeah, cheers, buddy.
Yeah. Cleo's, you're on Cleo's, are you?
Yep.
Oh yeah, you're on with me, aren't you, this week? Because X-Mart, I don't think X-Mart can do it. So we'll see you on Tuesday night, Hunter, for Renault Cleo's. That'll be interesting. You'll love that.
Yeah, very excited for that.
Yeah, we'll see you then. Lovely to have you with us.
Good luck with the race.
Cheers, buddy.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us on commentary here. Then Emo Guy has a 4.2 second lead as we're on board with WSRC. See Fury just in front. Fury's lost a bit of ground to Andy this lap. And look at the amount of time penalties these drivers have got. It's easier to tell you who hasn't. That's Gary, John Boy, X-Mart and Emo Guy haven't got a time penalty. But what has happened to Dan in this race? He's dropped all the way down to P15. Not been his race at all. Gary then has John Boy on the back of him for P9 and 10. Andy's up into P6 from the very back of the grid. What a start to Andy's race. He'll be happy with the P6 here from dead last. 10 places gained.
Yep. Yes, indeed. And I tell you what, you're saying there was a lot of time penalties. Sorry, excuse me, Matt, I was just taking a drink there. There's a lot of time penalties, and I found in Tier 2, in the wet conditions, the slowdowns weren't quite so much of a factor.
Right.
I seem to be taking more and more curb. And
I tell you why. The project
it's wet.
The Project Cars game will sort of extend its boundaries on track limits on the wet races.
Well, there you go. That's exactly why. And not something I realised until a few laps in that I could be a little bit greedier on the curbs than normal. So I do wonder if these guys have been practicing in the wet and kind of taking the lines that they would have been practicing and picking up these penalties. Again, we've got a grid here that's mostly full of penalties. Look.
Exactly, bar 4 drivers, the grid is full, and while we were saying that, Andy gained up to P5 as Gloria ran wide on the exit of Coppice Corner, so Andy's up into P5 and is hunting down X-Mart as well. Was 2 seconds quicker last lap. It was 1.2 seconds quicker last lap. Oh, he's not now. He's not now. He's had a bit of a wiggle coming through McLean's. He's not going to lose too much there, but was gaining on X-Mart. He's now just going to lose a bit of time. Laney has got past Avo Alfonso and can hunt down Emo Guy, but was 3 tenths slower than Emo Guy last lap. And there is a bit of a queue forming behind WSR now, as he's got Fury, Gary, John Boy, and nearly Nick de Villa on the back of them as well. So it's all going to turn out to be something quite interesting. With 7.5 minutes left in this race, Unorthodox has managed to get past Pope Neep, so he's up to P14 now. Lauder as well. Lauder having a bit of a quiet one. Down in P13. We obviously you've seen Lauder a bit further up the order.
He run wide, didn't he, Lodder? Looks like Dan's run wide again because Lodder's just got. Oh, they seem to be. There we go. That's why these two are scrapping away at the moment. Lodder and Dan. Lodder went wide earlier and lost a load of places, but Dan taking that line into the pit has give Lodder the inside. All a bit clumsy this lot, isn't it?
Yeah. It is a bit, and Dan's got to be careful here, so is Pokeneep really, because it's all a bit chaotic, and Dan, and this is no disrespect to the guys at the back end of this grid, but Dan, a lot better driver than P14 at the moment.
Absolutely.
Really does deserve to be higher up the order, round where Gary is. Dan deserves to be. We saw Dan and Gary have a cracking battle. In fact, has Gary lost? No, Gary's in the right place. So I thought Gary had lost a few places. I was just surprised to see him P11. John Boy's got past him, as well as he got past Nick the Villa. But yeah, Dan's a lot better driver than this. We saw him battling with Gary a lot last week at Brands Hatch. The BMW boys was both kind of running similar pace, weren't they, Kelly? And for Dan, he's a lot better than a P14 driver. And if you missed out, if you don't watch him play motorsport, Dan took his second win there Wednesday in quite a dominant performance with D-Biggs. So we know he's a lot better driver.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, I was gutted to miss that one because, as regular watchers of Simplay and Motive know that we normally commentate together on Simplay on a Thursday night, and unfortunately, because my game has got a Dirty Game scratch through it, because I'm still on disc, it won't load Imola, so I couldn't help you out on commentary, and I was gutted because Daniel had such a cracking good race.
I tell you what, it wasn't just race one. Daniel D-Biggs,
the whole race
fantastic.
Was good.
All up and down the grid was fantastic, wasn't it? But,
brilliant race. Screaming at the TV, I was sat here screaming at it, quite literally. And
that race in the wet as well proved to us that Dan's a better driver than what we're seeing in P13 tonight. He's struggling. And is it the BMW, do you think, that he's struggling with?
I think it's a handful, don't you? I know you've driven it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a lover of the BMW, so.
Yeah, and I mean, I like it to drive, but I just can't make it go quickly. Do you know what I mean? And I think Daniel's suffering the same. To be fair, I think he likes driving it, but maybe he's just struggling to make it go forward.
Yeah, the setup's obviously a big key here. When I raced in it in a championship, it was pure default, so everybody had the same sort of settings. It was all default, everything the same. But here, obviously the fine tweaks to the car, and you can set up a car wrong, and it can be horrible. You can set up a car and it'd be absolutely beautiful. You can set up a car and not really feel any advantage from it. But either Dan's tuning it and it's not right, or he's leaving it default, and his setup might be brilliant in the hands of G or Gary, but for Dan, just not comfortable in that BMW.
Indeed, and as we're talking BMWs again, Gary's dropped back down the order, down back to 11th behind Fury again.
Yeah, John Boy. I think that's more John Boy's worked his way past Gary and worked his way past WS on Nick and Fury. Right. I don't think Gary's lost out bar John Boy's place. I think Gary's pretty much stayed where he has been, because I've been watching that sort of battle on the timing screens, and that's pretty much stayed as it is. But as Gary's just got past Fury on the timing screen now, so I think John Boy's made the progression, and that's where Gary's just lost the one place. But John Boy just come through the chicane in the background there. He's going to try and gain on this pack with 4 minutes remaining. That's going to give us about 3 more laps here around Donington Park. John Boy, a lot of work too if he's going to get on this pack. He's 3 seconds behind Dolores, 5 seconds off the back of Xmart, who's on the back of Andy. Andy has got past him for P4, and Andy's looking at Avo Alfonso for P3. So could Andy here get 3 podiums in 3 races? What a start to his season that would be if he can do that.
Yeah, he's got his bit between his teeth for sure. Not only did he have 2 wins last week, he had 2 pole positions as well, because the first session was a qualifying session. So 2 poles, 2 wins from Andy last weekend. So, a 4th place here from, look, and it's gone wide. Alfonso's gone wide, so that's given Andy the podium position. He moves up into the podium position, and Xmart's going to take advantage of this as well. I'm going to put my drink down so I can change angle.
Oh, Alfonso's off. Alfonso's off massively. And where's Xmart in all of this? Oh, Xmart was off as well. So did they bang doors and one go one way, one go the other? But that's allowed Delore to get right on the back of this little battle here. Xmart not happy and flashing his lights there. He's going to look up the inside of Alfonso into the chicane, and again a bit of a bump of the bumpers there in towards the Fogarty S's for the 19th time in this race. And Delore all of a sudden on the back of this pack, and John Boy is reeling these guys in as well. He must be really happy. There was only 4 guys without penalties last time around. John Boy's picked himself up a penalty, so there's now only 3 guys. Gary here could get on the back of this slot, get within a couple of seconds, and could find himself go from 10th to 5th. after all of this, because everybody's got a time penalty. He could really be a beneficiary for Gary if he can get his foot down and try and pull a couple of seconds back. He could move up a few places as Alfonso tries to nudge Exmart into the old hairpin. Gets a bit of a slide, but he keeps the momentum going. Gets a good run up towards the hill now. Towards McLean's, and Exmart's turning round.
The Exmart as well. Oh.
Alfonso into the wall, and what did Exmart just tap the rear of him there and get him turned around? Did Alfonso come across Exmart to think the job was done? But that's going to give everybody an extra place from Fury up. So Gary there up to P9, Fury up to P10, Nick Villa and WSR and John Boy up a place as well. Exmart has lost out to Delore because of that, and has lost out massively to Delore as well. But we've got Gary, Nick the Villa and WSR in a little trio of battles here. And here goes Nick the Villa up the inside of WSR into the Fogarty S's. He's going to think better of that one as WSR gets a bit of a slide going through the S's. Nick the Villa's on the grass, and Gary somehow manages to get around the outside of both of them without getting hit. I tell you what, I don't know a man who's as lucky as Gary 131, but that was absolutely awesome. Brilliant.
Yeah, that was awesome. Now, Gary just threaded the eye of the needle there, and quite literally just squeezed that BMW between both those struggling McGanns and managed to come out in top. So, for the bad luck he has, he does have some good stuff as well, for sure. So
he does indeed.
Yes, indeed. And going back to the Alfonso Exmart thing, I think Alfonso came across the front of Exmart, but a bit of scruffy driving there, but never mind. As we move on, Gary's up into 7th now in the BMW. Poor old Dan's right back down at the bottom. I mean, a minute down as well.
He has. What has happened to Dan? I think the timing screen's on. There we go. It's 52 seconds now is the gap. But he's on the back of that's Lauder. So Dan and Lauder had a bit of an incident. Gary's got past. Nick the Villa's got back past Gary, so I'm not sure what's happened to Gary. A bit of a slowdown, maybe. Right. Yeah, I wonder if he's took a bit too much track limits. He got a slowdown penalty there, and instead of getting a time penalty at the end of the race like everybody else, he's backed off to give that time back. And with 19 seconds left, we're on the final lap of this race. And Emo Guy, we've not needed to speak about him because he got out early doors and he's led the entire race. And what a job Emo Guy has done here.
Yes, indeed. I was just going to go back to your point about Gary. He slowed down, and you think to yourself, why has he slowed down? Why not just take the penalty? But what he can see that we can't, or we can if I flick the right buttons, is what penalties he's got in front of him. Because he's still one of the 3 men who hasn't picked up a penalty in this race.
Indeed, he is,
Yeah, so he can just tuck in behind these guys and pick up places from being right behind them. But as you say, Emo Guy, faultless race really, got out in front on lap 1 and has just kept his cool, kept his consistency, and it's going to come over the line and take this win.
Indeed he is. Here comes Emo Guy for the 3rd race of the season. He's going to flash his lights and take a first place, which is absolutely brilliant. Laney here is going to take a P2. Andy not far off the back of him, so really gained on Laney towards it. In fact, Andy gets 2nd place on time penalties from Laney. So Andy has taken 2 wins and a 2nd at the minute. Delore looks like he's going to come across for a 4th place with Exmart. Now with Delore's got 3rd, so Laney's not even on the podium. Exmart then P5 with John Boy taking 6th. Nick de Villa looks like he's going to get 7th from WSR. Gary then jumps both Nick de Villa and WSR. Fury as well jumps both of them as well. So Fury gets P8. Vliga down in P11. I do believe he's finished. Yep, he's just finished the race. Avo Alfonso ends up finishing P12. So not the race he'd wanted. The Greek coming down towards the back part. The Fogarty S's now. Where's he going to finish? All these time penalties. It's hard to keep up at times when they cross the line and jump down a couple of places. Here comes the Greek. Crosses the line P13. Loses P13 to Popeneep, so Popeneep will get P13, the Greek will get P14. Here comes Lauder in 15th place, Dan all over his rear, and Dan ends up getting 15th place with Lauder finishing in P16. What an absolute crazy first race. Look at the time penalties. Laney 13 seconds, 9 seconds for Nick de Villa, 9 seconds for WRSC, 8 for Avo Alfonso, 7 for the Greek. Absolutely crazy amount. Fastest lap of the race goes to Laney, 109.7. Just double check. Yep, Laney, 109.7.
Only just from Andy.
Yeah, only just from 300ths of a second. We're going to take a very short break and we'll be back for the 2nd qualifying in the feature race of this one. Guys, hit that thumbs up button to 10 people who haven't liked the video. There's 22 watching, 12 likes. Get that thumbs up button hit. Subscribe to the channel as well. We'll be right back in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. And we're out. I'm just going to run to the toilet quickly, buddy.
Yeah, me too. Well, it definitely looks like some rain for this race.
Oh, we're going here. We're going.
Yeah, I know.
They are getting it done tonight. Whew.
Yes, indeed. So, good news, Matt. We've booked tickets for the British Grand Prix.
Oh, have you? Brilliant.
Yeah, it's my birthday present from my missus. Bless her heart.
Where are you sitting?
Club.
Oh, I couldn't tell you where we are. I think I got told was just bring a chair sort of thing and sit down.
Okay. Yeah, no. The last time I went, many years ago, I just couldn't be fighting with the crowd, so we went for a grandstand ticket.
Can't blame you. I don't know.
But we're camping. We're not on the circuit.
Yeah.
We're just in the place next door, Whitby Hall or Whittleby Hall or something like that.
Yeah.
So, so that's cool, eh?
It is indeed.
We can have a beer.
Oh, indeed. How many laps is it?
36,
Right.
I think.
Someone's just put on the thing. Avu Tordra Armada COD Modern Warfare Cold War Zone. She's just commented on the stream saying, "Good race, amazing commentary." Well,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Yes, we are available for
Yeah.
all kinds of commentary.
We are available, to be paid as well, please, by the ITV.
Oh, yeah, of course.
If you're
Yeah,
listening.
that'd be nice.
If you want to get rid of David Addison and Tim Harvey, me and Kelly are available.
Yeah. Or Crofty and Brundle.
Yep, kick them out. We are available for the F1.
Yeah, absolutely. Think we can run the world without one, Matt.
I don't mind travelling the world.
Sorry?
I don't mind travelling the world. Oh, we're back. We're back.
I don't mind.
We are
we're back already.
Yeah, Gene didn't let me know. We're back. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies if you heard our commentary conversations there, but we are back. Anyone wants to come and travel the world with us when we get our F1 jobs, me and Kelly, you're more than welcome to. But we are back for qualifying. Indeed. We've got a 15-minute qualifying session here at Donington Park National, and it's came over very gloomy in the last couple of moments. The cloud cover has really rolled in, Kelly, in this past couple of moments here.
Yep, it's grim up north, so they say, and it's got cloudy, and we are really expecting some rain for the next race. I mean, if there is one thing in the virtual world you can rely on, is normally if you put the weather forecast in, it does as it says. But for some reason, possibly user error, it didn't happen in the first race. But it's looking gloomy, and it is looking like it's going to be a wet race for this feature race this evening.
Indeed, it does.
So, track position is going to be extremely important in this session, so we'll see who's going to be quick and who's not.
It's going to be crucial to get good qualifying times, and if the rain comes in at the end of qualifying, early laps are going to be key, and a lot of laps are going to be key. You don't want to be pitting and not pitting, you want to be getting them lap times in, especially if the rain does roll in at the back end of qualifying. Because the minute that track starts to get wet, the minute them times are done.
Yes, and it would be well and truly over if they. And who's that just come out in front of Gary? Oh, he's got out of the way. Whoever
That's
it is.
Alfonso.
Yeah, and he's jumped out of the way. Good move. And he's the only man who's put a time up so far. A 1:10.1. That's not too shabby for a first lap, is it?
No, that's a very respectable time as
quick.
well.
Yeah.
1:09.7 was the fastest lap of race 1, so he's only 4-5 tenths off the back of that. So a great opening lap, great benchmark for everybody really. Laney's done a 1:10.3, so currently a tenth off the back of Andy. Pope Neep's done a 1:12.7. Dan crosses the line and must have been on an out lap because he's not set anything yet. Fury on his lap. Oh, and that's not going to be a good one as he's lost the rear of the car on the grass. Well held there, Fury, brilliantly held.
If it was a drift championship, then he'd get full marks for that. It was
10 out of 10 for that one as he's flashing his lights, listening to the screen, hopefully.
Good to see you, Fury.
As he's got Gary behind him.
Oh, he's gone again.
He's gone again. He's held it well.
Gary's collected him in behind.
Gary flashing his lights, not happy with that one. He's not the lap. Gary a 1:12.3. What could have been maybe for the BMW driver, but he's lost all the momentum down the start straight as well as Gary 131. He's lost that speed coming through the chicane, so he's probably going to have to forget about this one. Might improve slightly coming through that last part of the track, but he's going to have to forget about this one. Focus on the next one. Fury is as well. X-Mark's gone second. WSR, that's a very good time from WSR. They're a 1:10.9.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Gary must be sick of the back teeth and looking at the back of that monster liveried Megane there.
Yeah.
Because he looked at the back of that for most of the last race on and off. So he's probably sick of the sight of it, to be fair. So he's probably going to want to clear Fury to get a sensible lap in, isn't he?
He probably is. He's not backed off from Fury, so does he feel that if I can get past Fury, I'll get a good run in it? Is he good looking for the slipstream down the back straight? We'll have to wait and see. Both on a hot lap here, so we'll see if they can improve. Fury did a 1:15.4, Gary did a 1:12.3 last time around, and they come through the fog of TSs. No mistakes this time round, no messing about this time. And they're both going to cross the line. Fury will cross it first and improves up into P4 and P6.
Gary goes a bit
Gary
quicker.
then goes a bit quicker into P5. But now, because they've both got the momentum out of the chicane down onto this lap, now they will see they both improve a bit more, I reckon, by the end of this lap, provided the laps are clean.
Yes, indeed. And right at the moment, no one's been able to knock Andy off that top spot. So the 1:10.1 still stands. I'm sure we're going to see a 1:09. If some description from somebody, maybe not a lot of them, but we might see one. But at the moment, still Andy, quick as, had a cracking good race. It's all building. Oh, Gary doing the Tokyo drift bit then. And did he lose it? No, he's still there.
Kept it. He looked very quick into that corner and then just went sideways as if he forgot to brake hard enough. Oh, and there we go.
Laney
Kelly.
Laney's first man into the 1:09s with a 1:09.8. He was threatening it before. He's gone that little bit quicker, and he's up into the 1:09s and into first place. I was saying, Andy having a cracking good start, building a real championship here. We're only just after race 3, but he's had such cracking results.
2 first places and a second place. He's really got off out the gates, and he's jumped the first couple of hurdles brilliantly. The question is, can he maintain that over the season? I know he said last week to us off air that he's had so many wins in a season and he just can't seem to get over the line in touring cars. This is his year, he reckons. The start he's had, I wouldn't go against it.
No, indeed, he was telling us that he had 4 wins in the last season, but couldn't quite put a championship together. Well, he's had half of those already, and a second place, and we're only in the second round, fourth race coming up. So it's a good start for him for sure.
Very good start for him as we see John Boy cross the line and is down in P3 at the moment as Andy's just gone across the line. He's into the 1:09s now as well, but a tenth and a half off the back of Laney into P2. He goes yet again here. Nice to see Fury, part of our new sister team. Nice to see Fury, part of our new sister team, Pro Lassie. That's for the girls. Oh, Pro Lassie is what Nicky's just put. I presume he meant Pro Lapsy.
Pro Lassie. They were telling me. Yeah, Pro Lassie. It's the junior team.
There we go then. Gary's just gone back up into P6 at the end of that lap. He's just done, currently 8/10 off of pole. Fury P5. Emo Guy not yet set a time in this one. He's late to get out of the box here and get a qualifying lap in. But what a start for Emo Guy in this championship as well. Obviously didn't race last week, but has managed to take a win on his first outing. So if Andy's got a title challenger, as well as Laney and Delore there, if Emo Guy picks up a couple of wins, is that somebody that's going to jump on Andy's case here and try and make it hard for him, do you reckon?
Absolutely, and you know, for the time that I've spent involved in these sim proper sim racing, Emo Guy Ian has always been a quick guy and a challenger.
Oh, Andy's gone pole. Sorry, Kelly. Andy's gone pole by a tenth of a second with a 1:09.701. That was quicker than what we saw. We saw a 7:20 in the first race. So he's 200ths quicker than the first race time. Sorry, back to the point you was making. Apologies.
Yes, okay, I've lost it now. I forgot what I was on about. Quick lap from Andy. Yeah, I was just saying, don't rule Emo Guy out of anything. I think was where I was going with that. We've got some real contenders in this championship for sure. Yeah. We saw Laney join this championship at the tail end of last season and was really storming
yes,
towards the front. Yeah, so many quick guys in here. So many. So. It's still early days in the championship. Yes, we know Andy's got the bit between his teeth and he's had probably the best start, or he has had the best start of anybody. But there's so many contenders, isn't there?
There is Laney, Delore, John Boy, Emo Guy,
X-Smart,
X-Smart.
So many of them.
Yeah. Alfonso's quick on his day. We know Gary and Dan are quick on their day. Then you've got Andy himself. There's a lot of quick guys here. So we're about to see Laney cross the line. Does he improve any on this lap? He does improve, but he's now 400ths of a second off the back of Andy, so he's got a little bit to make up. But as we know in motorsport, that little bit can be so hard to find. WSR having a good qualifying, a 1:10.2 up in P5, so the man who seemed to go backwards a little bit in race 1, up in P5 in race 2, on board with Laney then, across into the old hairpin. That may be a slowdown penalty. That definitely will be a slowdown penalty across the exit of the old hairpin. We'll finish the lap there, up towards McLean's corner. You just want to go left, and I think he's backed out of it.
Yeah,
into
looks like it.
Touched this curb here, not too much. He takes a bit more than I would have, and he's backed out of the lap, in fact.
Does he let somebody through? He's backed out of it.
Yeah, he's keeping
Should we try and pick up Delore coming down?
We'll do Delore from the next lap.
Yeah, I'll let you run this one through as it's your backyard.
Thank you very much. I wish. I'd love this as my backyard. We're running around and cycling around it every day. So Delore then down the Wheatcroft straight then towards Redgate corner. You just see the blue part on the exit to the pit lane. You want to try and cut that a little bit. Make your entry as wide as possible. Delore doesn't. Clip the apex. Try not to touch them two cones. Be careful how far wide you get. That curb can unsettle the car. Nicely done from Delore. Now, Craner curves. How brave is he? Let's listen and see if he lifts.
Shouldn't do.
Keeps it absolutely pinned through the Craner curves. Pick up your braking point, down 2 gears into third, fourth. Clip the curb, don't run too far wide again. Just touch the curb to the middle of the track. Go over this little left-hander. Back out to the right-hand side where Billy Munger had his tragic accident a couple of years back. To the left again. Brake hard for this blind apex on the right. You just want to take a bit of curb. That's probably a bit too much for Delore then. Run it out wide. Uphill, you want to be braking sort of halfway up the hill now. Hit the brakes, touch the apex. He's a bit wide there. And I think he's backed out of his lap, but we'll finish it down towards the Fogarty S's. As you come round Coppice then, you want to stay as far left as you possibly can, Delore. Why are we going on board, everybody?
Okay,
you can't make this up. You can't make this up.
No.
But that's pretty much a lap of Donington Park. Gary, we'll pick Gary up from where Delore got stuck. Oh, Gary's took a lot of curb as well. Well done, Gary. Stay left as possible then. Halfway up this hill, you want to clip the brakes. Try and touch the apex of the corner. Cut it a little bit. Gary very wide, losing the rear of the corner. Now keep it tight. You don't have to touch that curb there. Left-hand side of the circuit. You don't want to be anywhere else other than as close to the left as you possibly can. Pick up the toe. It's lovely to pick up down here. There'll be a white line across the track. That's your braking marker. Just there. Gary hits it. Clip this apex. Gary takes a lot of it. That'll possibly be a next lap invalid, and he's very slidey. Misses the apex on the other part of the chicane. Out towards the curb. Back across to the pit wall. Set yourself up for a good run down to Redgate. And that is a lap of Donington Park National. On board 3 drivers.
Beautifully done, Matt. Beautifully
done.
Thank you very much. These Craner curves. I mean, you've been there, and I mean, we're gonna book it up tomorrow. I swear to God, we're going to come over because we miss out on Thruxton, which is our home track. I say home track, 300 miles away from where I live, but
47 days away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and who's counting? Obviously, you are.
I've literally got the touring car website up on my laptop next to me. It says on the top of there. That's the only reason I know.
Count it down at the top of the screen, isn't it? We can't get to Thruxton this year. Due to we're still under restrictions, so we're going to go to Donington Park, and I'm interested to see, are those Craner curves quite as does it show on TV and on the game how steep they are, or are they steeper than that?
I'd say they're steeper when you're there. I'd say when you're there you really see it. And the thing is we tend to sit on the infield of the circuit. If you was to go to the outer part of the circuit by the Craner curves, it's completely different. When we sit on the infield, don't get me wrong, it looks steep, it looks horrible, do you know what I mean? But when you go to the outer part of it, it looks even worse.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that is, but you sit on the outside of the Craner curves, it looks a lot worse, a lot steeper than what it is. And also the old hairpin looks a lot tighter on the outside part of the track than what it does on the infield. But the infield, one of the places to sit for me. You get to see all this way of Leaguerts coming out now, all the way down here up until they turn round McLean's and are halfway towards Coppice. So you get to see pretty much half the lap. And for me, that's what makes Donington one of the best circuits to go to. Plus, you get fantastic racing there as well.
The Craners have always served up some great racing down through there. We've seen some side-by-side action in the touring cars many times through there. And the last chicane as well, such a long straight, the Dunlop straight, such a long straight to such a quick chicane, makes for some great action down through there. Again, we've seen British touring car, we've seen the three abreast going into there, and a couple of Hondas bump into each other, as I believe, a few years back.
No, I don't think it was a couple of Hondas. I think that's Halton Park as far as I remember. One I do remember though, and I stood there because obviously you try and get as close to the car and exit as possible on the last race. You're not stuck in a traffic jam on your way out. I was stood at the last chicane for a race 3 once, and Plato, Turkerton and Shedden were all quite close. And Shedden had defended from Plato, and Plato just gave him his famous little nudge up the rear. Both cut the chicane, which meant Shedden won the race. Plato ended up with second place. Ultimately, Turkerton got that place back, and Shedden had finished second with no penalty apart from giving Turkerton the place back. But Plato ended up with a real nasty penalty because he was the one who put Shedden across the gravel and ultimately took the gravel as well. So it provides for great action because the chicane comes at you a lot quicker than you think, and it's a lot. Although they take it quite quick, it's a lot tighter as well. So if you are trying to make the move's got to be done before really you're turning into the corner. As we see John Boy on pole here with a 109.6, so he's gone nearly 8 thousandths quicker than Andy. Missed that one, but that is an outstanding lap from John Boy.
Lap, that is, yeah.
And look, I just want to say, look at the top 13 here, Kelly. Separated by 1.1 of a second, the top 13 are. That is not a lot of time. Bit of time then back to Dan at 1.4, 1.6 back to Vliegurk, 1.7 back to the Greek. As old Vliegurk, if he was on a better lap, he's not going to be now, as he's lost it all coming through the chicane. And crosses low, he improved. Knocked Dan down to P15 and he went P14, so he did improve slightly.
Yes, indeed. So John Boy, right at the last moment, is your quickest guy on a 109.6. That's a flyer. Andy in second. He won't be disappointed with that. With a 109.7, and the only other man in the 109s would be Laney with a 109.74. So really tight at the top 3. Just finish off your top 10. Delore in 4th. WSRCJ in 5th. I missed the rest of them.
Fury 6th, Emo Guy 7th, Gary 8th, Nick DeVille 9th, and Lauder was 10th, and then it's Pokney, Exmar, Alfonso Vliegurk, Unorthodox, and the Greek. And the rain has come in here. Now, we said about the Craner curves in qualifying being scary side by side into the old hairpin. In the wet, it's even scarier because you do not want to be offline down that Craner curves. Let's see if the guys keep it flat round the Craner curves in the wet. Who's brave?
You could keep the tier 2. You could keep it flat through the Craners. The back end was skipping around, but you could keep it flat through there.
There we go.
I think the rain's heavier for this one than it was. I don't know. It might be light rain, mightn't it? But yeah, you can keep it flat through the Craners. In the Megane, anyway. I don't know about the Beamers.
We'll have to keep an eye on the BMWs. It is light. It does look light rain. It doesn't look too bad at the moment, but there is 36 laps, so the track is only going to get wetter here. And we are in for a pit stop race. And pit window is 2 seconds.
Incidentally, the tyres don't last either. How many laps did we do on tier 1? We did 30 minutes. We did about 20 laps. was it 20? I think it was 20 laps or so, and the tyres were worn. The brakes, you touch the brakes lock. Towards the end of the race, this is going to get tricky for the McGann runners for sure.
The pit window is from lap 12 onwards. You're able to pit any time after lap 12, and yeah, for these guys, tricky conditions. And like you say, if the tyres on the McGanns don't last, can then BMWs? Now we know the BMW will take a lot longer to heat its tyres a bit more. Does that favour them? In terms of if the McGann's running out of tyres and needs to change its tyres in a pit stop, will that help the BMW, do you think?
Possibly towards the end of the race, yeah. Yeah, it could do. As I said, the McGann will suffer on its tyres towards the end. I can vouch for that one.
Yeah.
And I was running... we're about to go here, aren't we? We're just syncing up. I was running X-Smart setup. Yep.
We're about to get underway. We're green here at Donington Park National, and away we go then here. John Boy, bit of wheel spin off the line. Look at the spray already as Dan's got a good start. Look at Gary as well. He's trying to march up the order around the outside of a few cars in towards turn one. John Boy at the moment away cleanly. Dolores jumped Laney then, but has ran a bit wide. And hello, Gary through the middle of Dolores and Laney, already up into P4 in this WSRC. And Dolores, who's gone off at the exit of turn one, both got tangled up with each other. But look at the BMW. It's a rocket ship off the line. Gary already up to P4, and that's Emo Guy who's had a wiggle and has gone off. Dan up into P6 as well from the back of the grid, back row of the grid. P15 was Dan up into 6th place. What a start these Beamers get on lap 1. Fantastic job from then. A few people struggling in the wet conditions already, but here's Gary 131 as Laney and Andy are side by side just in front of him. Gary's looking to make this as hard as possible. Is he going to follow Laney through into Coppice corner up the inside of Andy? Indeed he does. Now, can Andy get Gary back on the overcut, on the undercut, sorry, underneath the car he goes, and let's see, will he have that run and drag down towards the chicane, the Fogarty S's, or is Gary going to have that momentum? Away they go then, side by side, into the Fogarty S's now. In comes Andy, job done again. Gary tried to keep it pinned, but just didn't have enough. And it looks as if he did. It looked as if that BMW was a bit cautious on the power coming through the chicane.
Yeah, I thought Gary was being very fair to Andy then. He had the overcut as they started to brake before the chicane, and he just let Andy go a little bit, really. He could have pushed that. Oh, yeah, and he nearly drops it again. The BMW is obviously a handful, but it is quick in these wet conditions, as we've seen both of the BMWs come up from the back to 4th and 5th at the moment, these two guys in these BMWs. So a cracking good start lap 1 for the BMWs, but they do look a handful.
We've lost a driver in this running. I don't know who we've lost here. There's only 15 guys I'm noticing on the leaderboard, so we have lost. Nick Gwynett just put in the chat saying OEX screen throw, so I wonder if that's the driver we've lost, whoever Nick Gwynett is. Not sure who he is, but Dan, look at the difference in Dan here. He looks like he had a wet setup on maybe for race 1, because he is all over the back of Gary in this second race.
Is that Nick de Villa that was...
yes, might be. I can't see Nick de Villa on the screen. It's a good shout there, Kelly. So Nick de Villa gone there. So not the start he would have wanted to this feature race. But Unorthodox looks like he's got a better setup on the car for this race here. But the McGann's not dropping the BMWs. And look at the run. Gary got through the chicane all over the back of Andy, but he ran a bit wide on exit. And now Dan, who must have a slowdown. Looks like he's had a bit of a slowdown,
slow down or run wide on that chicane or whatever, because he was hustling the back of Gary as they went into the chicane, but by the time they came out he dropped back a little bit. So as I said, Beamer's struggling particularly with that last chicane, getting the car slowed down, getting in between those sausage curves. Is this the Achilles heel for the BMWs? Because we've seen both of them already struggling in the last chicane, haven't we?
Well, I don't know about him struggling, because Gary was the quickest man on track last lap, and Dan wasn't far off the back of him, 3 tenths off the back of Gary. Not the second quickest, but was in close quarters, that's for sure. So these two BMWs then, can they work together here to maybe get onto the back of the front 3? As Gary's just dropped off the back of Andy slightly on this third lap of this race. John Boy is only off a second out in front, so we've kind of got a little double battle at the front as Laney's dropped Andy a bit. Andy's now trying to get back on the back of Laney, but has Gary and Dan all over the back of him. And in fact, Gary's looking for a move here on Andy as they're coming down towards Fogarty S's. Now he's backed out to that one, and now Unorthodox is going to have a look at Gary. Nope, Gary's going to have a look back on Andy. Up the inside goes Gary into the chicane where Andy done him, and Gary gets P3 back from Andy. And now what can the BMW do? Can it pull away and extend the gap towards that Renault Megane? Gary then, great move back on Andy there. Good stuff.
I Absolutely, and I think Andy gave the same respect that Gary gave him a couple of laps before. And he didn't make it very difficult, didn't make it hard work. He knew he was on the inside of him and let him go.
Oh, Dan's got through.
Another day.
Dan's done it on
Dan's going through the Craners, the first start of the Craners.
Yeah.
Dan's done Andy through there as well.
Great
Looks like
job.
the Beamers are better on their tyres than... because we know Andy...
Oh, Dan's clipped the grass! He's clipped the
it.
wet curb on the outside of the old hairpin into the braking zone. And he's got to get that car pointed in the right direction. I was just about to agree with you, Kelly. Look like they've got the car, seems well, the setup looks good, but Dan there losing the rear of the car and ultimately loses 2 places to Fury and
so
Vliga as well. In fact, he lost out to Andy as well. And here comes Avo Alfonso. Is he going to have a try and have a look up the inside? Dan goes wide at McLean's, but Alfonso, was across the grass. So Dan gave him the respect, but Alfonso wasn't there. Gary, though, has stretched a bit of a gap between himself and Andy here. He's got over a second already, and he only passed him at this point a lap ago. So Gary on the hunt for the top 2, within 2/10 of each other as they cross the line to start the 5th lap of this race. In fact, they're side by side. Laney has already got past John Boy.
Yes, indeed, they're side by side across the line. John Boy and Laney. Laney's has got the inside line. Is John Boy?
Great move.
He does try to cut. Oh,
great
look at
move.
That was awesome.
He set that up from the minute Laney had got past. John Boy knew Laney was possibly going to run deep into that corner, and he just brakes a bit earlier, gets it turned in, and what an undercut that was from John Boy.
That was.
And
that's
what,
not easy.
No, that's not easy. Not easy in the dry, let alone the wet. John Boy there pulls off a spectacular move. And just looking at the last lap times, Laney was half a second quicker than John Boy, and Gary not far off the back of Laney. But I tell you what, these two could have a BMW on the back of them shortly if they keep battling like this. Dan down into P10. So what's happened to Dan since he's off? He was 7th a minute ago. He's now dropped to 10th place, so it's going from bad to worse. Although he's trying to follow Alfonso through. That's Lauder they're trying to get past, and Dan is now past him. He's looking on the back of Avo Alfonso here, up towards McLean's corner. There you go. He's going to keep it tight. A bit of a Matt Neal move. He has done it. He's not kept it as tight as Matt would, but he's kept it nice and tight and got the position.
I don't think he kept it tight on anything. It was, he missed the apex by a country mile, but so did everybody else. So he managed to pull it in enough to get past Alfonso, who went very, very wide. So Dan needs to clear this crowd and crack back on and try and make some good. He's still got 31 laps to make good of this, so we could do without the mistakes, but he needs to clear some of these other guys and keep himself out of trouble here.
Oh, what a lap time.
Yes, indeed.
Just looking at John Boy, down a 1:14.8. All the guys doing 15, 16, 17s. John Boy puts in a 1:14.8, near enough a second quicker than Laney on the last lap. John Boy really putting in a good lap. Gary had a bit of a poor one then, so he's dropped off the back a little bit more. He's now 3.5 off the back of this gap, but he's still gapping Andy as well as Gary. So he's kind of in no man's land at the minute, can just assess the conditions and maybe regroup it. Here comes Laney back towards John Boy then. Within half a second is Laney on John Boy, and what can he do? What's he got to do? He knows John Boy's good at an undercut, and is clearly a clever lad for thinking that. Oh, Laney got on the grass coming through Coppi's corner and has lost a bit of ground, lost a bit of momentum then, and he's dropped back a good half a second, if not a bit more.
Yes, indeed. And sorry, got a bit of ice in my mouth. You know, I have a drink. Got a bit of ice in my mouth. I couldn't crush it out before I started talking again. How rude of me. I do apologise. Yes, indeed. John Boy seems to have got the bit between his teeth now, doesn't he? He's gapped Laney a little bit here. These guys are the quickest of the McGann guys. X-Mart in the 15s at the moment, and I did see Delore in the 16s, but John Boy a 14 on that last lap and Laney a 15. So these boys seem to have the McGanns under control. Gary, the highest of the 2 BMW runners, currently in 3rd, but not bothering these two too much right at the moment. No, but as you said, he's gapped Andy by 4 seconds or more now, hasn't he? He's
really got away from Andy. He was also 2/10 quicker than Laney on the last lap. So Gary seems to have the pace to keep up with these front runners. I don't know if he's got the pace to keep up with John Boy, but seems to have the pace to keep up with Laney at the moment. But we know Gary. We know he's got a mistake in him, let's say. So he's got to make sure he's consistent here.
Yes, indeed. And yes, we do say and we've all got an awful lot of respect for Gary. He is a cracking good driver, but his Achilles heel is he just every now and then just overdrives the car, and he makes it difficult on himself. Do you know what I mean? There'll be a lot more race wins, I believe, if he could just iron out these little mistakes that he makes. Now that's, with no disrespect to the guy at all,
everybody's got their flaws, haven't they? Even Hamilton makes mistakes from time to time, and he's a 7-time world champion. But it's just, if he irons them out, how consistent, how good would Gary be? Again, a 10th quicker than Laney on the last lap. Gary getting ever so close to a 1:14 here, so he's clearly got the pace, and he's slowly gaining a little bit of time each lap on Laney. He's got 1.9 back to Laney, so he's got the same gap to Laney as what Laney's got to John Boy. But hats off to John Boy here. What a drive he's having here. Laney seemed to be all over him and get that move done, and then the minute John Boy got back in front of him, he's just pulled away.
He has, put that cracking good move on Laney on the first corner, and that was a cracker. Believe me, after being out there in the wet, I didn't realise it was possible to get to that part of the track on turn 1. Do you know what I mean? But a cracking good move, and as you say, since then he's just got himself into a zone. He's stayed in there late 14.
Oh, who's that off in the background? Is that Fury?
Is that Fury? I think it's Fury, that one.
Oh dear. Yeah. Oh, what's
Fury,
happened there?
He seems to have a box full of neutrals at the moment. Not that can happen, but I don't know what's going on with Fury right at the moment. But he's just sat there for a minute, so we'll come back to him as we'll jump on with Dan. Darren going down the side of X-Mart. X-Mart's let him go with all looks like kind of friendly light flash in there. And X-Mart kind of let him through that one. Obviously feels that Dan has got more pace than he has, and just decided to let him go. X-Mart, reigning touring car champion, hasn't had a brilliant start to the season, but we know how a season can change.
Indeed we do, as Laney's picked himself up a time penalty then, so he's got a bit of time to add on to the end of this race. Gary's just dropped off the pace a little bit then into the 1:16, so is Laney actually. So is the track just getting a bit wetter here where times are starting to fall down. But Dan, at the moment, was actually the quicker than every other car in front of him other than the race leader. So Dan really starting to make a bit of time here in his BMW. Now, is the BMW starting to be a bit better on its tyres, Kelly? Are the McGann starting to struggle this early on?
Possibly. Where are we? Lap 9. So the McGanns will probably start to suffer with their tyres a little bit. I think the key is with this BMW. I think the BMW is quick, but I think it's more susceptible to mistakes.
Yeah.
And again, being that I drove race 2, tier 1, tier 2 even. We'll get there in a sec. The McGann is. You can lose the back end of the McGann, but it's very rare that it goes right round.
Yeah.
The BMW, when you lose the back end, there is a good chance that it's going round.
Indeed, there is.
The McGann, you can catch it even when it's hanging right out. You can, the front wheel drive characteristics is you can pull it back into the circuit and not lose so much time.
Yeah.
Seems to be the mistakes with the BMW are catastrophic. As we see Dan going a little bit. I'll send happy as he came down through the craners there.
Now Dan's time as well, Kelly, nearly in the 1:14, a 15.0, so what a time from him. Gary as well into the 15.3s. Andy a bit quicker than Gary on the last lap, but Laney a 16.4, so a bit of a horrible lap for Laney. Here's Emo Guy. We saw him have an early spin at the Craner Curves early doors. He's down in P11. He's gaining on the back of Popeneep, matching time on the last lap, but he's also got Delore, I do believe, just in front of this two. So Emo Guy here looking for a couple of places. Our race 1 winner tonight in the sprint race. What can he do in this second race? This is going to be all important for Emo Guy here to make sure he gets as many places as possible, because he won't want to get a win and then get a poor result in the second race. Fury's still not going, you see in the background, is a handful of laps down already now. Gary again, 6/10 quicker than Laney on that last lap and is nearly within a second of Laney. So Gary at the moment, compared to Laney, absolutely flying in terms of lap times on the last lap. Unorthodox as well in that BMW, really flying in relation to Vliegurk in P5, over a second quicker on that last lap. So he took a second out of Vliegurk just in one lap there. So the two BMWs, I must admit, look a lot better in the wet conditions, Kelly.
Certainly do, don't they? They certainly do, and good to see. In the comments, Nicky saying that Dan has found his groove. Let's hope so. The two BMW drivers seem to have found their groove. I saw Nicky, you were in the Astra earlier. I remember, because I saw you in my rearview mirror.
That's a brave move, Nicky. That's a brave move in the Astra.
That's
oh
probably
dear.
Why. That's probably why I saw Nicky in my rear view mirror today, because he was in the Astra, and let's face it, the Astra is about as much use as a chocolate ashtray, isn't it?
It is about as much use. Who drives an Astra in their British touring cars? Just remind me on that one.
I've no idea, mate. Who drives one?
Plato.
Who?
Yeah, exactly. Who? Exactly. Who? Yeah, exactly.
Old news, Matthew.
My pedal wires come out the back of my wheel, says Fury's mum. So I can only assume that that's not Fury's mum, that's Fury.
What's come out of his wheel?
His wires come out the back of his wheel, that's why he's not going anywhere at the moment. But speaking of going somewhere, Gary matched his lap time of Laney last lap. Was only a hundredth of a second quicker, but he's within a second and a half of Laney now. And John Boy's checked out in front. These two have checked out from Andy. Gary's now 5 seconds in front of Andy. So what a job Gary's done to get past and pull away. Early in this one, Dan gaining on the back of Ligo, but has X-Mart staying with him as well. He's not dropped X-Mart here.
Yeah, keeping him honest. Yeah, X-Mart's keeping him honest. Maybe he's just got X-Mart got into a groove and just following Dan's tracks, although the two cars perform differently. But Gary is... he's driving well. He was.
Oh, it's John Boy. There we go. That's why John Boy was going a bit slow. I wondered why John Boy was looking slow. With John Boy and Laney then both jump into the pits, and Gary's been released. Also, Andy's coming into the pits. So out of the top four, 3 of them are in the pits, and Gary is going long here. So looking maybe to make the overcut work here at Donington Park.
I can't show you into the pits because the project cars won't. I haven't got one. I haven't got somebody in the pits. Every time
lost
I'm trying
driver.
To look. Fury. No.
Yeah, we've lost Dan. Fury. We've lost Fury.
No, we haven't lost Dan. Sorry. Yeah, we've lost Fury. Yeah.
So Fury's retired from this race. John Boy into the traffic of X-Mart, and that is... that's Lodder and Delore, sorry. So is Andy. Where's Laney? Laney's actually jumped John Boy in the pits by quite some margin here. He is over 6 seconds in front of John Boy at the minute. So great pit stop. That is a fantastic pit stop for Laney there then. John Boy's now got past Lodder, so he's dismantled him. He's got past him. Oh dear, he's got...
took him apart.
I tell you, Andy's just tapped the back of Lodder. Oh no! Lodder's had a bit of a wiggle, and Andy got caught up in that one. Andy's going to lose even more time, and if he wanted to undercut Gary, it's not going to have worked there because he's going to have lost all that time. And here comes Emo Guy now then. No, he doesn't. No, Emo Guy doesn't come on. I was looking at the wrong person. Here comes WSR then on the back of Andy, and Andy's got to regroup after that incident.
Yes, indeed. I think Lauder just got out of shape and collected up poor old Andy as well. This race 2 turned it into a bit of a shocker for Andy at the moment. He doesn't have any pace, and now he's had a spin. It doesn't look like it was his fault.
Oh wow! Look who was in the 1 minute 14s last lap.
Boyo.
Yeah.
Boyo's in the 14s, letting that BMW. He's finding the groove.
He's definitely getting in the groove. These BMWs do look good in this wet conditions here. And Lee now, he's got some work to do if he's going to defend from unorthodox. He's got the bit between his teeth after a poor race 1. He's really going to want to try and come back in this second race. And could this be the one?
See how tempted Fly was over that corner. And again, look, Dan's just right there. He's going to have the traction out of this one now.
He has traction slipstream all the way down to the chicane. Wait for Dan to pull out. He's thinking about it. On board unorthodox now, and when's he going to do it? Is he going to do it on the brakes? He's having a look. No, brakes a bit earlier, and he's obviously looking for that run through the corner. And look at the closing speed of that BMW mid-corner compared to the Megane, and that's actually not helped Dan at all there, because he would have had to have lifted off or braked just a little bit, so he didn't run into the back of Vlee there. But that's kept Dan behind him here. Otherwise, apart from that, it was going to be a cracky move. Is he going to look under the inside now? Vlee misses the apex of the corner, runs a bit wide, and wide. Dan is going to say, thank you for opening the door, pal. I will come in first.
I'll have that.
Yeah, thank you very much. Pokeneep into the pits, and Gary has a 15-second lead from these two. Emo Guy in the pits as well, so Andy up into P8 now. Gary then 15 seconds out in front of these two. Gary now, last lap as well. Dan obviously a bit of a poor last lap, but he was in the middle of a battle. Gary into the 114s himself. So these BMWs really coming alive now.
Yes, indeed, they certainly are, and I think they could end up being the class of the field. Of course, if they don't complete, I mean, I know the Megane's going to burn its tyres out. I know it is at lap 20 or so. So these guys going to lap 36 on these tyres. The BMW, it could all swing the other way, of course. The BMW could wreck its tyres before the end of this race. Yes,
really
indeed.
could. We don't know what's going to happen. We're going to have to keep our eyes firmly peeled to the screen and see what Gary and Dan decide to do. As Gary just dipping back into 1:15's last lap as he was lapping the Greek here. So the Greek already now a lap down, I do believe that was the Greek anyway. But here's Delore gaining on the back of John Boy. Now, I don't remember seeing Delore in the pits yet. Laney, John Boy, Andy was the leaders to come in. So Delore here needs to make his stop as well from P7. But John Boy, what's he got to do here, Kelly? Because he got massively jumped in the pits by Laney. He's well behind him now, a good 3 seconds behind. What's he got to do to regroup here?
Well, it's a good question, and you know what it's like, Matt. There's a fine line here between overdriving the car and moving quickly. Do you know what I mean? It's you sit in the car and think, right, I'm going to up my pace now, and then that's when the mistakes start. Because
to relate to that as well, to relate to that as well, Donington is a track that is very rewarding, but when you start to overdrive, it can hurt you.
Yeah, on so many corners. There's so many places on this track that things can go badly wrong. And, you put a few of those together in one lap, all of a sudden you're going backwards instead of forwards.
Yeah.
And your mindset now, for John Boy, the mindset now is to try and bring back that 6 seconds that he lost. That's a lot of a loss in a pit stop. So he's got to be trying to think about how he can bring that back, but he'd not overdrive the car.
He's not got to, said,
so easy to do.
It is so easy to do. He's got 3 seconds. He's got 4 seconds to Laney. No, sorry, that's Exmo's got 4 seconds to Laney. Got about 3 seconds to Laney as John Boy, but Laney has that time penalty, don't forget. So that will be in the back of John Boy's mind as well. Kelly and Matt, I need your predictions for the F1 next week. Do you think Mercedes will be dominant? No, says Nicky in the chat. I don't think Mercedes will be dominant.
Is that your stand on it? That you don't think they're going to be?
I don't think they will be. Exmart there has just got the move done on Vlieg. Vlieg very slow coming through the old hairpin, and Exmart up into P3. 4 seconds off the back of Dan, though. That's going to be very hard to catch. Kelly, your views on Nicky's comment?
Nicky comment, can you, Matt? They need your predictions on it next week. Do you think Mercedes is going to be dominant? No, I agree with you. I agree with you, Matt. I think they're going to have their backsides handed to them by Red Bull on this one.
I don't just think Red Bull's going to hand it to them. I think McLaren will as well. I think McLaren are going to be one to really watch next year.
Yeah, I've said this before in commentary various times that the McLarens are looking particularly good. That lineup with Danny Rick and Norris is just looking so good. A Merc engine in the back of the McLaren. When McLaren know how to win races, they know how to win championships.
And I said, I don't know if I've said with you on air or in a private conversation, McLaren had the best chassis on that grid last year. The reason why Racing Point looked so good was purely the Mercedes power in the back of that car. If McLaren had Mercedes last year, McLaren would have done better than Racing Point, in my opinion. I can't remember if McLaren beat Racing Point in the Constructors overall, but McLaren would have been better than Racing Point, in my opinion.
I think Racing Point potentially had one of the quickest cars on the grid, certainly second or third on the grid as an overall package, but their driver lineup was meh, and
when you say meh, is that both drivers or just one driver?
Yeah, I don't rate Perez. He's had his time. He's had his opportunities. Yes, is he going to be a rear gunner for Verstappen?
Oh, 100%. That's why he's been signed.
Yeah, of course it is. He's not there to win races. He's there to play rear gunner. I'll
tell you exactly why Perez is there. Perez is here to win a constructors' title.
Yes,
absolutely. He's here to provide support to Verstappen, nick a win if it's available, nick a podium if it's available, take the constructors from Mercedes. Because he's more experienced than Albon is. And obviously, take nothing away from Perez. He won that race at Bahrain last year when it was the
he won it because the Mercedes tripped over.
Yeah, but and that's what Red Bull are bringing him in for. When Mercedes trip up, and Albon's not been able to do the job when Mercedes have tripped up, that's why they've brought Perez in my opinion, to win the Constructors' title.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, is Perez solid? Yes, he is. Perez is solid driver. He's consistent. He's reliable. He's all those things, definitely. Is he a champion? No, not at all. Right, not a race winner, not a champion. Right. So the best, as I said, the most exciting lineup on the grid is Danny Rick and Lando, in my opinion. Yeah. I think they've got race wins in them. Championship, maybe not. Race wins, definitely.
Championship, not this year.
But yeah, not this year.
Yeah.
But
Gary's in the pits. Gary's in the pit, so let's just see where Gary comes out here in relation to this man on screen, Laney. This is going to be crucial then, so we can't see Gary exiting the pit lane yet. There's Dan, and there's still no sign of Gary exiting the pits as of yet. Laney's coming down the start straight. Now don't forget, Gary was only a second behind Laney. John Boy's on the back of Liga. It looks like Gary's lost a lot of time here. Yeah,
it's looking like it. He's still in the pits. I can't pick him up actually in the pits, but he's taken a long time. Has he gone for a tyre change? No, surely not.
He's gone for something because he's lost out to Andy, who he was 5 seconds in front of, and Andy's had a spin. So Gary having a very, very long pit stop here.
He's still in there. Is he going for tyres?
Can we change the camera angle? Will that give us a view on Gary? He's doing something in that car.
He's doing something. Nobody else is. Typical mechanics. Here they go. Look. What are you doing?
Gary's commented on the stream. He's just sat in the pit box. It won't release him.
Oh no! No! Oh, what a disaster for him! Oh, he was so looking to
lollipop up. I just can't pull out of it.
Ah.
It's hard to neutral, Gary. Yeah, it's not in neutral, is it, mate?
Nicky's just
sat there revving it like mad, going, why is it going it? Oh yeah, I'm in neutral. Gear and go, Gary. Gear and go. Come on, lad. Nicky's just put in the chat. Sorry guys, totally got into a different subject, but I like your opinions. No, yeah, fine. We love the questions, Kelly. Don't we?
I wasn't finished.
No,
I wasn't finished yet, Nicky. I'm still on it. To be fair, yeah. Look, Gary's going nowhere. Oh no. What a shame. He was flying.
Oh, he was flying. That's oh.
That's that done. So, yes, just quickly finishing off, in my opinion, Verstappen's going to win. I think Red Bulls are going to be stronger than the Mercs. Are the Mercs going to be on the back foot for long? Probably not. They will bring it back together.
Do you know something? Mercedes. Do you know something my dad said to me that to do with the F1 this year was... reliability comes to an end at some point, and Mercedes have seemed to have a very reliable car for such a long time. First day of testing, gearbox issue. My dad said to me when he called me up that night, this is the year reliability of that Mercedes is going to go down the drain, and you're going to see a few more problems. That's what my dad honestly reckons.
And I'll tell you what, I know for a fact, bit of inside knowledge, because I have a friend who works for Mercedes F1.
Oh, Gary's retired.
He's retired, yeah. Well, nothing else that was going to happen there, was there? If he couldn't get out, then that was going to be that. I've got a friend who's he's actually Williams pit crew, and he does the programming on the steering wheel, but he actually works for Mercedes. He's on loan from Mercedes to Williams, and he said that the Mercedes has got a whole brand new block this year. And it's a stronger block because we know the Mercedes has problems with temperature and struggles with high temperatures. They've changed the whole block of that Mercedes to a different type of aluminium to make it stronger in the races. So will that also, that kind of material change, is that going to give them some problems later down the later? Yeah, absolutely. So. I
know this year was obviously meant for the big rule change, wasn't it? That got pushed back to next year because of COVID.
Right. Yeah.
But there's something that is exciting me about this season. Do you know what I mean? There's something about after winter testing that Mercedes don't look strong. Ferrari, we don't know if they're what they're doing at the moment. With Red Bull and Alpine and Aston Martin and McLaren all look good. Williams looking better. Yeah. It looks like it could be a cracking year.
And don't you think there's just so many exciting drivers at the moment? So many exciting drivers, you know?
Yeah. Bar Lance Stroll,
Yeah. Sorry?
Bar Lance Stroll, yes.
Yeah.
I'm not a Lance Stroll fan. No, but
No,
Perez.
I'm
No,
not.
but I like. Oh, we've lost another driver from the grid. Who have we lost now? Wow, we've lost another driver. We've lost 4 drivers in this race here.
No. Yeah, I don't know who that is. Alfonso? Where's he to?
Alfonso's not there. Yes, was it Alfonso
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
gone?
could
We've
be, yeah.
lost a lot of drivers in this second race. Problems occurring for the drivers here. And Dan
Yes.
hitting that 114 yet again. He looks like he could be the man. I don't think he's going to take the race to Laney and John Boy, but can he jump Andy? That's the big question.
Yes, indeed, and it's highly possible. He's got some time in hand. Looking like he's going to go for a late one. We'll see how late he goes. But as you say, still in the 114s. He's the sole remaining BMW in this race, and he's staying in that groove at the moment. Exciting drivers on the F1 grid, I think. Do you know what I mean? There's so many Lando, Leclerc, Danny Rick, Verstappen, and George Russell. The list goes on and on and on. Of exciting drivers, with hunger, with real hunger.
I'm actually done a fantasy F1 this year, and I tell you, you get to pick 5 drivers in a team. I picked McLaren as my team. I picked Lando, Ricciardo, Gasly, Verstappen, and Ocon as my drivers. You get so much money to spend, and I think that is a good lineup with a constructor. That is a good lineup. Instead, because a friend of mine did it last night, and he went, if you pick Hamilton and Mercedes, the rest of your drivers are Russell, Latifi, Schumacher, and Marzipan, whatever his name is.
Marzipan.
That's not a very strong lineup, but you're guaranteed good points with Mercedes and Hamilton potentially. Whereas I think I've got a good, solid, all-round package on my fancy F1. I think that's a good, solid lineup.
I really do think the man to watch this year is going to be Danny Rick, and I think he needs to be the man this year as well. Do you know what I mean? Life's going past him quickly.
31. I think he said, watching Drive to Survive the other day, season 3, 31. He said, I left Renault. I need to get on with it because my career's not got long left. So.
Absolutely, and that is what Formula One is like. I mean, he's an old boy, and his window is shortening, and he needs to get on with it. And I think he is going to be the most exciting driver on the grid this year. But I've been wrong before many times. So let's wait and see on Sunday. I'll be watching practice, qualifying, everything. Absolutely.
Nicky, put it in the chat next week, and we'll probably discuss what's happening if there's a bit of a lull in the racing next week, because. I don't know what it is about pit stop races. It just tends to quieten everything down a bit, doesn't it? As John Boy's on the back of the Greek, that is Laney on the back of the Greek, as John Boy is gaining on Laney within 0.8 of a second of Laney now, so he's coming. And Laney's got that time penalty.
Does he?
No, he doesn't. Laney's got that time penalty to think about. The Greek wisely pulls over and lets the 2 leaders through, and this is effectively net first on the grid here, Kelly, because Dan's still to pit 10 seconds up the road. He's not going to get in and out within that 10-second time frame.
No, not at all. Dan isn't really a factor. This is the net race, as we said, for first place between John Boy and Laney. And John Boy has brought this back because Laney had.
Oh, he has. Laney's made a mistake through the Fogaty-S's, and here goes John Boy. He's on the outside as they head down towards Redgate Corner, down through Wheatcroft Straight they go. And John Boy's already got the move done, thought about defending it, and thought, you know what, I don't even need to.
No, indeed. So John Boy back into net first, as it were, where he was before. I mean, we know he had good pace before the pit stops, and he seems he's caught Laney back. He had 6 seconds behind Laney as they came out of the pits. He's managed to drag that all back and put himself in front. So
John Boy driving a typical, because he's obviously a touring car champion here at Motive. John Boy driving a typical champions race here, consistent laps and great moves when he needs to make them. One thing I'm going to say, you're looking at the timing screens, Dan 24 seconds back to Andy. Dan could jump Andy here as John Boy has completely missed his apex. Laney's back through.
Laney's got down the inside of him.
Great job. Do you think Dan could jump Andy in the pits 24 seconds?
I don't know what the pit deficit is, but it's a possibility. And Dan's
if he does that lap time, that's the quickest lap of the race, if I'm not mistaken. Wow, that is a fast lap.
Yeah, but Andy's in the 14s as well, mind.
Yeah. 4 tenths slower though, and don't forget every little helps at the moment, as we are on lap 27 of 36 here, and Laney back in front of John Boy, but that's not the fight over. You can rest assured John Boy's going to come back at him, and Dan is out on a Sunday drive here, a typical Sunday afternoon stroll through the Midlands racetrack, a track that's right next to East Midlands Airport. You get the planes flying in and out over your head all day as a spectator. And on the campsite, it's quite annoying when you try and sleep, but oh well.
I look forward to that.
Midnight when the planes stop, and then 4 in the morning when the first plane comes back overhead, and you're like, oh yeah, great, brilliant. As here comes John Boy. He looks like he's got to run out the old hairpin up towards McLean's corner, and in fact, has he got that move done? He has, you know, and pulls right back in front of Laney. Now, get McLean's right, get it tight into the apex of the corner. Do not give Laney a sniff, because he'll be right back up the inside. And John Boy then is that move's done for this moment in time.
Well, yeah, but it's you see how these two are going at it, and great racing amongst these two.
Yeah.
They haven't touched, they haven't bumped, they haven't been pushing each other about. They've been trading places very fairly, very cleanly. Can Dan put this on the podium? What do we reckon?
I think he can here. I think Dan can jump Andy as well here. Get your comments in now if you think Dan can outdo Andy. Gap back was 26 seconds, I think it was, 25 seconds. As John Boy here. What's John Boy? Has he got a slowdown here? He seemed to let Laney through and back off the pace a little bit, so John Boy, perhaps with a slowdown then, has got to do it again for a third time in this race. He's got to get past Laney.
He's getting quite good at it though, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
He knows how to do it.
You'd think by now Laney had nowhere to defend, although is Laney not putting up too much of a fight because he knows he's got the time penalty?
Well, this could be it. Shall we have a quick look what that time penalty is?
Oh, wow.
Oh, 7 seconds.
Oh, that's bad.
Oh,
that is big.
That is
that's
bad.
a big time penalty.
Yeah, that's
so there you go.
Going to hurt him.
What is he? He's 13 in front of. He's 13 in front of Andy at the moment, so he's all right there. And Andy's got 2 seconds.
Yeah, 2 seconds.
So yeah. Wow.
Dan without a penalty, so those 2 seconds might help come at the end of the race. We're only 8 laps left on this race, so John Boy in the pound seats really. Laney's got a 7-second advantage. John Boy could just trundle along behind him and win this race. I know he's probably not the way he wants to do it, because most racers want to do it on track, don't they? They don't care about time penalties.
They do indeed.
I'm exactly the same, and you probably are as well, Matt.
I am. I want to get it done on the track.
Yeah, I'd rather do it on track than than doing a time penalty, but I'd rather not drop it either. And
yes.
and take
in these conditions,
risks.
As much as you want to do it on track in these conditions, you'll take whatever comes your way. Nikki in the chat, I hope Dan gets it on the podium. I just hope the BMW pit crew are awake this time, as Laney very wide out of Redgate corner, and John Boy for a third time in this race is back through in front of Laney. Let's see how long this one lasts this time. Dan's got 27 seconds on Andy now. So it's becoming ever more possible, and Andy with his time penalty as well, it's becoming even more possible for Dan here to get himself on that podium. Don't forget, guys, Dan in this race qualified P15, so what a drive it would be. Laney having a sneaky look up the inside as Dan puts a lap on Emo Guy. What a quiet second race, P10.
Yeah, indeed. Yes, indeed. Maybe not suiting him the wet conditions. His
car looked good in the dry. Maybe it was a dry setup and not suited for the wet.
Yes, indeed. As these two go at it again, as we said, unfortunately we got a time penalty for Laney, which really kind of makes this battle null and void a little bit, but which is a real shame. But these still going at it, trading places.
The thing is, I've been there with time penalties, Kelly, and if you pressurise the drivers that much and he has a bad off, you could find your time. You could find your time back. But John Boy's too good. John Boy seems too good to make a mistake at this stage.
Not of that size.
Not of 7+ seconds. If Laney gets another one in this race, to make that mistake, could Dan get a good quick pit stop? Maybe come out within the 7 seconds of Laney. Do you think that's a possibility?
It's possible. He's definitely got pace, hasn't he? Do you know what I mean? These guys are in the 15s to 6. Laney on a 16. 8 for that last one, where Dan's still the quickest guy out of these 3. His last lap 15.2, so he is still the quickest man out of these 3. So 6 laps to go. Is Dan going to wait right to the last minute and try and just keep this groove he's got, and not disturb his?
There's a mistake, John Boy. I said it. I said pressure him. I said pressure him. There's one mistake, and we're still nowhere near the end of this race yet. So John Boy has got to try for a 4th time to get past Laney in this race. And Laney then, all this while these two are battling, is playing into the hands of Dan. Unorthodox is really going to be licking his lips at this opportunity here, because the more these two scrap and squabble, Dan's already gained 3 seconds over the last couple of laps because these two have squabbled. There's a guy coming out of the pits, and Laney does well to make sure he misses whoever that is on pit exit. Yeah, that could have been nasty if they were side by side. It's Lodder. Whew. That could have been a bit eventful.
That could have been airy, that, couldn't it? Yeah, absolutely. But no harm done, but it all looked a bit of a moment. But yes, you're quite right. This time round, Laney was the quicker of the three. And Andy's got pace again. He's back in the 15s. Yeah, maybe Dan could put this into second place if he can. He's got, what, 14 seconds on Laney, 7 in hand. Was it 7 or 6?
Yeah, so it was 7. So that's 21, 7, pretty much. Because if he comes out 5 seconds behind Laney, he's in that shout of that place.
Absolutely. So we'll see next lap round who's close to who.
Dan's back in the 14s. What a lap. He's pumping them in now. He's doing a cracking job. John Boy looking good on the back of Laney now. Oh, Laney's on the grass
John
again.
Boy's going to go past him again.
He is. Yeah. 4 times lucky then for John Boy. He's already in front. They do a bit of a crisscross there, bit of a scale-electric crisscross on the old track, and Laney can't find a way back through John Boy. Keep the pressure on John Boy, and will he make a big enough mistake to gain seconds?
Sorry, Matt. Look at these times. They're in the Laney was in the 17s now.
Well, I just want to say this to you. You said the Megans tyres went off towards the back end of the race.
Yeah.
If the BMW's looked after his tyres, is this the transition we're seeing now? The Megans tyres starting to go off and Dan able to keep the lap times going, whereas maybe the Megans have just got to ease off slightly.
Maybe so, and maybe this could be the case, or just this. Are these guys just thinking that we're just playing at this one for the race win? All my talk about tyres really is only from personal experience, and I could just be talking rubbish, or have a poor setup. But certainly for me, the tyres were shot by about lap 20.
Dan's in.
Right, Dan's in the pits.
So this is the time to tell what is going to happen. Dan is in the pits. In he goes. BMW crew are on it. Same crew as Gary's. The arms are up. They're all having a good time. The lollipop's up. Dan's away.
It's moving. Thank God for that.
It is moving,
well,
and there's the leaders. So, where is Dan in relation to Laney? He's out the pits. He's not 7 seconds behind, that's for sure.
He certainly isn't.
Dan, what a drive.
Now, Dan.
What a drive. That's been drive of this race too for me, from Dan. Drive of this race too. Had a terrible race one, a terrible qualifying in the dry. The minute it's rained, that BMW in the hands of Gary and Dan has looked so strong. And Dan here, what a drive. He's 4.6 behind Laney. Laney's now over a second behind John Boy. The race win's gone, but Dan here from 50th to 2nd, whether he does it on track or not, Dan has done a superb job. He's got to keep it going now and keep with it. He'll know the time gap between him and Laney. He'll know the penalty Laney's got. He's got to make sure it stays there. Yeah.
Keep it together. Get this first lap out of the way when those tyres have chilled off a little bit.
And you know what?
That tricky.
He wasn't far off of John Boy, to be fair. 6 seconds isn't a lot. If John Boy had a bit of a longer pit stop or a bit more trouble coming through the traffic, Dan could have easily have done John Boy. Nicky says definitely driver of the night for Dan. Awesome pro laps from him. I've got to give it Emo Guy and Dan as well. Emo Guy did a stellar job in race 1 and Dan race 2. But, both of them did so well. But for Laney here, he's now got to get the gap to, Dan, and he's not going to do it halfway over that curb. Dan, is it saying a minute 6 behind? We all know he's not. He's 3.8 behind. So Dan is actually gaining on Laney here.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So all Dan has to do is cruise up and stay 6-7 seconds behind him, and he's got this second place. I mean, it was a stellar drive to put it on the podium. He just cracking in lap after lap. Absolutely. And he had his moments at the beginning of the race as well.
Let me put this one there to you then. Gary'd be leading this race.
Yeah, he probably would have.
Gary was 15 seconds ahead of Dan before he pitted. Gary would probably be leading this race had Gary come out of it. So you have to say the BMWs, can it rain every week for them? Because they look absolutely brilliant.
Yes, they did. And did I say that at the beginning? Did I say that the BMWs would be good? I'm sure I said something along
You said something along them lines, yeah.
Something along those lines. Yeah. Watch out for the BMWs. That's it, because we were talking with Hunter about it, weren't we?
We was.
So,
Dan's just lost a second or so here on this last lap to...
he's just been lapping traffic, mind.
Yeah, so maybe that's the case. Laney looks very slow through Redgate every single time I see him. He doesn't look like he's taking Redgate as well as he could. The Greeks just come into the pits from last... I can imagine, but you're going to want to start to get a hurry on.
As the time goes on, I found Redgate, was that turn 1?
Yeah, turn 1, Redgate, yep.
And the old hairpin, I found those two towards the end of the race. They're so incredibly difficult to get the car around them. You know what I mean? Just to, Redgate was just to stay on the track. And, you know, there was people in front of me and behind me. Certainly, who was in front of me? Whoever it was. Klaus Martini, I think it was. And again, he was running wide every single time. You know, the tyres are worn right out now. You know, those two corners were just hellish every time. So
I can imagine.
Yeah, fair play to these guys keeping it all together.
Well, here comes John Boy then, down through the Fogarty-S's for the penultimate time, and he's going to start the final lap of this race. 2.4 ahead of Laney, but has pretty much the job done because Laney has such a time penalty. Laney then a further 4 seconds in front of this man on orthodubs, and what a drive. 15th to 3rd on the track, and it looks like he'll get second place when he crosses the line.
I'm coming on. I don't want to watch.
There was a back marker moving out of the way. And what a stellar drive. Exmart a bit quiet down in P5, as is Delore, and Vlee a bit quiet down in 7th. Female Guy's worked his way up to 8th place. He's gained a couple of places towards the end of this one. But a very, very quiet race for Emo Guy in this second race after he took such a dominant race 1 win. It goes to show if he's not got the car set up that just right for the wet, how it's changed that much. WSR and Pokeneep, time penalties to them in 9th and 10th. Lauder in 11th place with the Greek down in 12th at the moment. And John Boy's got about half a lap to go here as he's coming up to Coppice Corner. So he's got this, the Dunlop straight, and the chicane to go. Go on, Kelly.
I tell you what, Matt. I tell you what, man, who's probably not going to be that disappointed is Andy. A 4th place. Yeah. Now, again, you know, this is the worst result he's going to have had.
Yeah.
For the whole, he's caught up to Dan. Has Dan had Dan gone backward?
No.
Dan's had a bit of a spin.
Oh no, he's Dan within. Dan's not within the 7 seconds. Now what has happened to Dan? We've missed John Boy across the line. So John Boy takes the win. Apologies to John Boy. Laney will get second place now as he's 11 seconds up the road to Dan. But what has happened to Dan at that final moment of the race? Unorthodox has lost the rear of the car somewhere. He's going to come home for a podium P3. Andy 4th. Yeah. And I agree with you, Andy. Stellar drive for 4th place. Great stuff. Been a quiet one for him. Dan 15th to 3rd. What could have been 2nd wasn't to be. Exmart. Really not seeing much of him, bar Dan getting past him. Really quiet one for Exmart. But a P5 nonetheless. Good points for the defending champion. Delore's going to come home for a P6 in a quiet one for him with Lee. He's just coming through Coppice Corner now, so a bit more of the track to go for him. Doesn't want to make a mistake though. He's only got Emo Guy 4 seconds behind him, so he won't want to make a mistake.
No, it's not over for these guys until they come over the line. You know, it's still got to get there, even though the leaders have won. But yeah, I think Andy won't be disappointed with that form.
No.
It's been his worst result of the season so far. But if his worst result is 4th, I think he's still going to go out of this championship leader, isn't he?
Oh, most definitely. A 2nd place to 4th place with his 2 wins. Here comes WSRJ for a P9. Lauder finishes 10th with Pokeneep 11th and the Greek in 12th. And who got fastest lap? I do believe Dan. No, John Boy, a 15.4 was the fastest lap of the race.
A 14.4.
A 14.4, sorry, it was the fastest lap of this race. But Dan, 15th to 3rd. What could have been 2nd?
Driver of the day for me, and I know I'm biased on when it comes to Dan, but I think he deserved that driver of the day. Do you know what I mean? What a consistent drive to pull that back in 3rd place.
I'll give him driver of the second race, definitely, but I have to go with Andy, a 2nd and a 4th, consistent points again. Boring, I know, but over the 2 races, I think Andy driver of the day, but Dan definitely driver of the second race. Good, stellar drive from him. What a job that was from all the guys. What a shame we lost 4 of them towards the end of that one. Gary, a bit of a strange incident in the pit lane by not getting him away. Just final comments coming in. Top job on comms. Lad says JR Sim Racing, and Nicky, awesome race. Love the commentary, guys. Brilliant as always. You get a Pro Laps rainbow for that. So cheers, Nicky and the guys. Kelly, any final words from yourself?
Oh no, just a pleasure as always. Pleasure as always, Matt. Great racing, touring car. Matter if it's on track or on sim, it never ceases to entertain. Good race from everyone.
Indeed it was. We're going to be back live tomorrow on Motive with the Assetto Corsa Porsche Cup. Then I'll be back on Motive next Sunday night with Kelly. And Kelly, you'll be here Tuesday in the Clios, I do believe.
Tuesday with the Clios for the Tier 1 Clios. I think I've got Hunter, who was on with us earlier, joining me, and I'm on Simplay on Thursday night. Looking forward to being back. I missed a week due to technical rubbish, and looking forward to being back with you on Thursday night, Matt.
Indeed, it's going to be a pleasure to have you, everybody. Thanks for liking this video. Thanks for subscribing. Get them last likes in and subscriptions in, if you will, as well. We'll see you all next week for the touring car race. Join us, join Motive live tomorrow night for their Porsche Cup on Assetto Corsa Competizione. But from all of us here at Motive Racing, thank you all. Take care and good night.
Good night. Thank you.
We're out. Good stuff. Good
Awesome
stuff.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Good racing, that. Good racing.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was good racing. And I mean, that was Tier 2 was so tricky, man. It was so tricky that yeah, you know, the car was changing, the lap was changing every lap. Do you know what I mean? It was so take my hat off to those guys. That was epic.
Are you clear, are you?
Yeah, we're clear.
I believe we are, Dan.
Awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. What a race, man.
Oh my god, I was not
You've
expecting
got to be happy with that.
Yeah, I was shocked when I saw Gary pit. I was like, what the fuck? Why is he pitting? Why is he pitting this early? While we got clear air, we might as well stay in front. I was like, this is a BMW 1-2 right now. Hell fucking yeah. And then
you were right into a groove there. Hitting the 14s, you were like quickest man on the track, or either the quickest or nearabouts. Like, you know, for lap after lap after lap. Great consistency.
Yeah, well, I didn't see the point of pitting. If I pitted, I would have been in traffic. So what's the point? And I had the pace. I just had to. The BMW is so much better in the wet. Oh my god. I made a few tweaks here and there to make it suit the wet weather. So I've lifted the ride height. I obviously then changed the tyre pressures to be harder. And I don't know what it was. I was just in a flow. And I made a couple of mistakes here and there. And that's why I just dropped off the back of Laney a little bit. And then I dropped it on the last lap.
Yeah, well, we didn't see that. I came off the. I was race. Oh, you know, I was race director. I came off you because I didn't want you to fuck up, and then you did.
Yeah, I fucked up anyway.
You would have been second. You know, Laney had a 7-second. Yeah,
I could see that. I could see he had 7 seconds, and I think I was getting a bit optimistic. I came out behind 6 seconds behind John Boy, and I was like, "Fuck me! Like, I could probably win this if they fuck up." Yeah. So I was trying to stick to him. Front tyres would have been dead for them. I was going to be like, right, let's try and stick to him as closely as I can and see what happens. And then
I think John Boy. I don't think he was cruising, but I don't think John Boy was hitting as hard as he could.
He was saying that he was having so much understeer that he had to slow right down so that he would turn. For me, I didn't have understeer. I didn't have understeer. I had like more oversteer than anything, but it was controllable. Like, we weren't going fast enough for the car to snap. Yeah. So
I was saying to Matt that the McGann was awful as the race went on. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I was passing McGann's like it was nothing. Yeah. Literally, like it was nothing. It was easy. I'm kind of wishing I put more wet races now.
I thought after the season was wet.
Well, my start as well. I came from near enough last to fucking. Was it third, I think, or fourth? I was like, fuck
you and Gary were running 4th and 5th a couple of laps in, and you two were running, you know, consistently 4th and 5th. And then did you have a bit of a half spin, didn't you?
Yeah, I spun in front of Andy. Again, a little bit hard and pushing a little bit hard, and I just tapped the curb just ever so slightly, and it just went round. And I was like, right, that's my lesson learned. And if I had not touched that curb, I reckon I would have won that race. I reckon I would have won it.
Yeah, that was. You would definitely had pace, but
I lost about 8 seconds there, I think. So 6 seconds off of John Boy after the pits, I think I would have been up there fighting for the race win.
Yeah, shame about Gary as well, because I think Gary was 15 in front of you when he pitted, so I think Gary would have definitely won that race.
I honestly thought Gary was going to win that. Like,
don't know what happened. He got stuck in the pits. He won't release him.
Oh, that's nuts. What?
Literally.
Release him at all?
No, literally. So Kelly jumped on board Gary, so we could see his car from like the chase view. Lollipops lifted. There's no revs, nothing. Gary comments at stream. There's nothing on my screen. I can go. They've told me I can go. I'm in first gear. I've got nothing. It's not releasing me. Wouldn't release him from pits. That's why he retired.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. That's why he retired. So, yeah.
I suppose the only saving grace with this thing is that in the real world, shit goes wrong as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and it kind of balances that out, doesn't it? Because you have engine failures, gearbox failures, wheels not tightened up, whatever else. You know.
Yeah.
You know, these kind of quirks and things of the game just kind of compensate for that, don't they? You know. But I mean, it's annoying, isn't it? You know. When it happens to you, it's the most annoying thing in the world.
Yeah, it fucking sucks. But race 1 was shit, but race 2, fucking hell. Let's have more wet races. I can't wait for Autumn Park now.
No, God, no more wet races, please.
Dan, you love the wet. That's why you won on Thursday.
Yeah. Rainmeister.
I'm getting the hang of the wet races, aren't I?
I'm going to start calling you.
Is the rain at Bathurst?
I'm going to start calling you Rainmeister.
Potentially at the minute.
Fucking hell, that's going to be a shit show, you know that.
I do, yeah. Rain at Bathurst at the minute on the live weather.
Oh, that is... Well, Bathurst is going to be... I'm looking forward to that one, because we are going to have some fucking hops.
I was going to say...
for sure.
I was going to say to you, Dan, what happened Friday? You just didn't seem to have any pace in that Renault.
I'm getting sick and tired of Formula 1. I actually am.
All right.
No, I didn't save my setup, did I? I did all my time trials and I didn't save a setup, so I literally threw one together that night. I was just like, do this. I should have YouTubed one, really. I should have just.
Did you hear I hit the safety car?
No.
Right. So what I did was come out. The safety car comes on when you pause F1 online. The AI will take over for you. Right. So what I tend to do is I tend to pause it so that then the idiots who want to brake check you in front, because Green Pies is terrible under safety car, he backs you up so much. If you tap them, you'll get a 5-second penalty. So I thought I'll put it on pause. AI will take over. He'll react a bit quicker than me. So Green Pies and because Just Jose had just come past the pit lane as the safety car came out, so we had to do another lap before we got behind the safety car. So Green Pies passed the safety car. Gary goes past it, and I went right pause. All of a sudden, my AI is going really slow behind the safety car and then just taps him and I lost my front wing and I was like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, I've got a pit now. I ended up fucking last. And I thought, I was behind DJ Phil and I just thought, oh, well, there's my race. I'm stuck behind this fucking idiot.
You got back to fourth, didn't you?
Finished fourth because Nicky Allard drove through me about 3 times in the middle of an apex. Yeah. Because he ghosted through me. But I got third because of his time penalty, so I'm not bothered.
What track were you guys at?
Red Bull Ring. And I like Red Bull Ring as well.
Oh, right, yeah.
We're at Silverstone next.
Yeah, boy.
But I've done testing for Silverstone already, and I'm a second off your pace.
Mine?
Second, yeah, off yours. Whatever you've done. I think you've done a 25 or something around there.
Something like that, I think, yeah, and I was...
Yeah, I couldn't get out the 26s, and I was using your setup.
Shit.
I'm not a fan of driving Silverstone, myself.
No, do you know what? I'm not a big lover of it.
No.
I'm not a big lover of Silverstone.
I just couldn't get into the flow of it. I just couldn't.
Tell you one thing though, Dan, and the track you could tell the difference between Paul Ricard and Red Bull Ring, that you could use the curb a little bit more without it going warning for track limits. I don't know what it is.
I think I got 4 in the end, 4 seconds.
Like I say, I think with Paul Ricard and I know Sochi are the same. They're very even when you put it on strict, it seems overly strict. The rest of them seem quite fair,
decent.
Yeah.
But Paul Ricard is one of those places where you can steal so much, though, isn't it?
Yeah, because there's no fucking grass or gravel, is there?
Yeah, it's just like yellow lines, blue lines or red lines, isn't it?
That's probably why it's so strict.
I mean, I haven't raced that 2020 game, so I don't know. But yeah, I guess that's why. You know, they've probably overdone it for being so easy. I like Paul Ricard to drive.
Oh really?
Yeah, I do. Really like it. But to watch. I mean, it's hard work to watch, isn't it? It makes your eyes go funny, you know. But yeah, to drive, I really quite like it.
I kept fucking up the chicane. I kept thinking it was the fucking road before, not the one after. So every time I went to brake, I was like, "Oh fuck, wrong one."
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
It's fucking annoying. But Silverstone's next, and I don't know if I want to carry on because I'm just not enjoying it. I'm just finding.
Is that because you're being told to run it and everything?
I'm being told to run it. The running it doesn't bother me because I've got it saved now. So I literally just load up the lobby, and it's there, sorted. All I got to do is change track. Then I got to invite everyone in, and that's a ball ache alone. When I did it half an hour early this time, well, and 15 minutes early to normal.
Yeah.
So basically, I gave myself half an hour to get people in, and it was still a fucking ball ache trying to get people in. And I'm just like, why am I fucking wasting my Friday night doing this?
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind commentating it. I would rather commentate it than race it, but I just don't know. Me and Andy were talking about swapping, so Andy will race.
Andy jumping in the Renault for you, and you going on comms.
Yeah, we'll see. I might do Silverstone. If I have another fucking awful race, then I'll probably do that. But people on there just can't drive for shit.
It's piss poor. And the worst thing is with F1 is when you're racing in the tin tops, even on sim play with damage on, you can rub each other still and get away with it. Yeah. The minute you touch somebody on F1, wings gone, or you've span, or you've spanned the other person, and fucking, they just don't seem to understand that damage. These cars are so fragile, you can't go wheel to wheel with people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's I think what makes people not fucking realise. They're so used to driving in tin top cars that the minute you put fucking them in an F1 car, they just
crash into everyone.
Yeah.
Hey, did you hear? I'm getting my first penalty this week.
I did know that. I wasn't involved in the decision. Are you on about this in play?
No. What?
Oh, okay.
What?
Oh shit! Has Kieran not posted it yet?
Kieran hasn't told me nothing. What's happened?
So I wasn't involved in the decision because of something that happened yesterday when I went on a bike ride.
Am I going to lose my fucking race win?
No. I think you've been given some points on your licence, but it's not going to matter because we're at the end of the season pretty much.
For what incident?
For what?
Reversing back into Gary.
At Imola, race 2.
Yeah. I don't. Like I've said, because there was an incident that happened yesterday with his son.
Watching that, I didn't think it was that, but I thought Gary was already like off the racing line, overtaking somebody.
Yeah, Gary
looked
like he was making a move. Like I say, normally I'm involved in the decisions, but because I've had police and everything out with something that happened yesterday, I've said to Kieran, deal with the decisions for the pro footage for me because I'm busy sorting something out.
So Gary kept apologising to me, but actually he then put it in and said that Dan hit me.
Gary's not put it in.
Who put it in?
Nobody's put it in. Kieran's took it from the stream.
What?
Kieran's took 3 clips from the stream and penalised 3 people.
What?
Yeah. Kieran's no one's put it in. Kieran has took 3 bits from the only footage that went in was emo guy rear-ending
Little Leach,
that was
emo guy rear-ended Peaceful into turn 1.
Did he get a penalty for that?
That went down as a racing incident, turn 1 incident.
What? Really? What?
And then
no way.
Little Leach got given a penalty for rear-ending Sutty.
Yeah.
Which was caught on stream.
Yeah, that should have been done as well. Yeah.
You got a penalty point, so you got like 3 or 4 points on your licence. I think you get 12 before a qualifying ban, but I don't think you're going to get any more because obviously season's nearly over. And then they penalised Fury for spinning over the line when Kieran had put a post out apparently the other month.
He doesn't know anything about that, so he needs to be told that.
Kieran wants to come and watch touring cars then, because
no wonder he wasn't
telling Smoky Devil off.
No more wonder he was chatting too much. He was too busy making fucking notes.
Yeah. I don't think I've penalised anybody off the stream before.
I mean, that's
I think that's a little harsh.
I mean, Gary didn't really mind it. He actually apologised to me.
Yeah, Gary texted me telling you sorry.
Yeah, I know, and I was like, mate, why are you apologising to me? If anything, I should be the one apologising because I reversed out on track.
Kieran not put the post out then because he told me he was going to do it.
Well, I haven't seen nothing. I ain't heard nothing. But I've been too busy with this.
He's not put nothing on.
I'm now also getting a 10-point penalty on fucking Formula Renault.
Oh, why?
Because I hit a bat marker.
Oh.
Yeah.
Naughty
Long
boy.
Beach.
Dan, you're terrible. Dan, you're terrible. What dirty driving this week?
Innit? I'm going to rename you Matt Neal.
Whoa! Fucking Matt Neal never reversed in front of anybody.
No, instead he just not come out instead.
He's normally done it with the front of his car, not the rear.
What happened to Hunter? Does he just disappear?
He just
left.
He just kind of went.
He was in the chat though. He was in the chat afterwards. I don't know if he was feeling a little bit.
We kept trying to go to him, and he didn't say a lot, did he? And then the racing got good. The racing got good, and me and Kelly were just bouncing off each other and doing our commentary as normal. And then he was just like, "Oh, I'm gonna head. I've got to head off." And we was like, "All right, pal, no worries."
I mean, it was that his first commentating, Dan?
Yeah, he commentated me before in Tier 2, and then did Tier 1.
I mean, give him his due. It's not his first language, as Haley pointed out to me. So Dutch. He's Dutch, absolutely. And did you say he's in with Cleo's with me on Tuesday?
Possibly, yeah, but I don't know. I thought 3 people was going to be a bit much. I was like, okay.
Well, we've done it. We've done it before.
Yeah, but like, it can be. Do you know what I mean, Matt? Like,
I know what you're saying.
Be too much.
Me, you, and Andy's done a lot before, haven't we, Dan? Where at times, this is when you was early starting out. If you remember, you barely got a word in.
Yeah, I kind of ended up just doing like comments on the stream and all that lot.
Yeah,
instead of racing.
You was more saying what people were saying on stream, weren't you?
Although, I mean, I suppose it depends on the commentators. I mean, since then, again, me, Andy, and Dan have done some Monday night stuff together, and we worked really well. But I think we kind of fell into a routine where almost one talked after another, if you know what I mean, Matt.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It kind of, we left. A gap was left for Dan, and then a gap was left for me, and then a gap was left for Andy, and on we went.
I think our problem, Kelly, is when we get too excited with touring cars and we just kind of go on.
Yeah.
At one stage, I forgot Hunter was that quiet. At one stage, I forgot he was there.
I'll tell you what, this pack is very close in touring cars.
Yeah.
I literally, it takes Andy or Laney or John Boy just to fuck up, and the whole pack are on them.
Yeah.
It's very close. It's like Clio's now. This is. I wish I'd never picked the BMW because I reckon I would have been fighting for the race wins.
I reckon. Hold.
You were today.
I reckon, mate. You wait till you get to a few better tracks. Where are we next week?
Silverstone Classic.
So
Silverstone Classic next week. Yeah.
You'll do well around there in the BMW.
Yeah, it'll be powerful around there, won't it? So
I need to sort out. I need to sort out the rear end, but once I've got that rear end sorted, then it's easy.
Dan, just quickly then with Hunter, if you speak to him beforehand, then he's more than welcome with me with Clio's. If Mark's not doing it, then I'll nursemaid him along and I
don't know why G's thrown him in with both of these, but okay. With Tier 2 touring cars, it's fine because he's with me and I'm on my own most of the time, which is fine. But G's kind of just thrown him in and said, right, you're in with these guys, and these guys, and it's just like,
I got a message 2 minutes before I joined the party. And I was like, all right, so there's a third person. I don't know where he's going to be able to speak because me and Kelly are just going to be fucking rambling on all night.
That's what I mean. I was like, Hunter said, I'm going to stick around and do a commentating with these guys. And I was like, well, fucking good luck with that. I mean, there's a reason why I put these two as commentators.
Yeah. How do you think you're going to get a word in?
On about shit.
How do you think you can get a word in edgeways with a gobby northerner and a trappy southerner? Do you know what I mean?
Whoa, Midlander, Welshman. Sorry, Welshman.
Sorry, a Welshie.
Thank you.
A gobby sheepshagger.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Yeah.
Even when we wasn't discussing the race, we was mumbling on about the Formula 1 and who we think is going to win it, and Mercedes aren't going to be that good because nothing was happening in the race. We was just going. Hunter got a word in edgeways. It might have to do with the F1 actually. He may have mentioned Verstappen being a Dutchman.
Yeah, he does like his F1, so...
Well, I mean, it's early days, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And you know what it's like, your first time commentating, even if you're experienced in this kind of thing, do you know what I mean? It's still daunting. He doesn't know the drivers. It's not his first language, so exactly. I'm more than happy to have him back and him, find his feet.
Yeah, definitely. Wow.
Definitely. To be fair, I mean, Mark's a lovely guy, but he does kind of go off on a tangent a little bit. Do you know what I mean? You know?
That's why you got to keep him on a tangent.
Well,
That's your job.
I know,
You need to keep him on a tangent.
I know. It's just easier when the person you're talking with just talks on the same subject. But there you go. Anyway. Listen, guys, I've got to go.
Yes.
So, thank you very much. Dan, are you coming round for the Grand Prix next week?
Most likely, I guess.
Excellent. I was going to say, don't you be saying no now.
No, I'm not. I'm going to be busy touring car.
You what?
We're going to be too busy doing touring car.
The race is way before that.
I'm doing testing, mate. I need to get this BMW planted.
You better be shitting me.
Grosjean's going to put it in a wall. Oh, fuck no, he's not racing, is he?
No, he's not. He's fucking IndyCar, and he still crashed an IndyCar as well, didn't he?
I know.
Right, we'll talk about it in a week. So
Yeah, no worries, buddy. I'm going to shoot into a different party as well. So I'll catch you all later. Welcome. Bye. What's up with you? What's up, Keeks? So why did you say to tell me to come into the party dead urgently? You what? Keeks, what did you want me for? I can't hear him. Is that his microphone rustling? What did Keegs want me in the party, or is he just taking piss? Oh right, so you don't need out, because I'm busting for a pissy and I didn't know if you needed out. Right, I'm going for a wee. I'll be back in a second. I see Kieran's not put that post on yet to say what the penalties are. Just to let you know, by the way, Dan got a 10-point deduction at Motive. He hit a back mark around Long Beach in the Formula Renault, not intentionally, but clipped him, and they've given him a 10-point penalty. And then I went, "Oh, you've got points on your licence penalty at with us. What for?" Reversing it to Gary. Kieran should have posted it to the page. What? Do you want to know what your reset penalty was? Disqualified from the season. All points gone. So what it says is video on. Now I just want you to know, Jamie, right, mate? That the boys sorted this one. I sort of took a back seat because of what happened yesterday. Oh, by the way, Keegs, when you're coming down to knock this bloke out? Oh, sorry. As your dad says, tickle him. You said you're going to get the bus down or something. I did see the reply. I can't remember what it was. Oh yeah, on your VTEC, you. That's the one. Cheers, Keeks. So it says here, I don't know why he's not posted it, Jamie, but it says here, following Big Boy Brazier's use of the reset button when he was not on his roof, he has been given a 5 championship point penalty. He is fully aware of the rules. If he was caught again using the reset button incorrectly, he would be given a subsequent qualifying ban for the next race on the calendar. So you've lost 5 points in the championships. You only lead by 4. We've been getting stricter so that people don't do things again. So we've I told Kieran to stick in them rules of that region. Yeah. Would a penalty point hurt you at this stage of season? Probably not. So you still lead by 4 points. Makes the championship more exciting if Gary's going to balls up even more. How was commentary tonight, by the way? How was that? Better, wasn't it? A lot better, I thought, tonight. Because I got first time commentating, apparently. Keegs, you didn't race Friday, and Brian Recluse fucking finished the race. Aye, about time you fucking started a race. That's 2 you've missed now. Look, mate, at least you didn't get disqualified. Jamie got disqualified.
Nobody's ever done with a sausage roll.
Oh, speaking of Dean, I've had a picture sent to me from Kieran. Oh, where is it? Why won't it enlarge? Why won't it get bigger? No, you don't. At all, no, you don't. Fuck you then.
It's a fucking joke.
I don't know why it's not getting bigger, but he messaged Kieran at 8:30. Are you still being the same car next season, mate? Oh. You know what Kieran's going to be doing, don't you? Gonna be getting quicker. Deanie? Okay, now. Oh, I'm still streaming here.